How are ya? It is I, Tamashii, and all I gotta say is Tamad's. First of all, I just want to apologize for not doing the stream yesterday. I was actually having very important conversations with literally a group of my friends, and you know, stating stuff. Where are you? I cannot see, I cannot cry tonight, and I miss you. True, bestie. True. But what was I saying? So yeah, so I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna cancel stream because this seems like we need to hash it out and, you know, talk it out and stuff. Important talk, yada yada. That's what you said. Yada yada. Rada rada. Rada rada. So, this is TamaTalks, where it's only going to be 2 hours long. I'm going to cut it short, so I'll talk about my day a little bit, and then I want to finish what I was talking about last time concerning Palestine. We were reading this whole thing about it. A lot has happened, not going to lie. I think today was a pretty terrible announcement from Trump, right? I think they just like announced something. Can someone help me out with that? Because I just looked on Twitter. And I've just been super busy with work lately. It's something bad every day, like, keeps happening, and it's like, oh god, I really need help staying updated. So yeah, today, I think basically Trump kind of announced the colonization, the official colonization of Gaza specifically, right? And is willing to send American troops. But let me just go to Google, or actually, well, let me go to Twitter, because there's a lot of news article people there. Let's see, that I can just find references to. Oh my god, literally it's in the front page of Twitter. Trump announces US takeover of Gaza Strip amidst global outcry. So I don't even know what exactly that means, but this was last updated 3 hours ago. I know it happened this morning because that's where I read it, but again, I've been super busy with work, so, and a lot of other things. But we should check that out as well, kind of investigate what that means. I just hope people will be okay. That is my thing specifically, but obviously, I mean, even despite the ceasefire being a thing and official, Israel hasn't stopped, you know, bombing people and stuff, so things aren't, I don't know how to take this at all, but we'll find out in a bit. Let me just try to let me just try to have everything in check here. That way if I start playing stuff you can hear it. But anyway, first let's start with things easy. Again, please read the pinned trigger warning. I'm going to be talking about social issues that are dark topics and real topics. If you guys want to hear about it, I'd appreciate it, but if you don't, then well, that's on you. Okay, so let me freaking read chat. Also, chat, can you guys see me? Am I lagging? Is my stream good? Again, I use new settings. I just noticed that I'm at 720p though, which is something that should not be a thing. So if my stream's terrible, my bad. But let me see. Important talk. Oh wait, that's what you said. Did he finally buy Canada? Basically, it's like when NATO peacekeepers enter a country, i.e. they'll stand there and do fuck all. I see, but I lag. You see, but you lag? Like you lag, or my streaming's lagging? Tell me so I can change that right now. I'll lower the bitrate, because I have it at like over 9,000. Literally. Okay, if you're not responding, I'm assuming that's a yes. Here, let me see. I lag. Are you asking about the stream, Allie? I'm on phone. Okay. I see. Let me put 8,000 on 5G. Let's see. I'm just gonna apply 8,000 instead. Oh god. Okay. And everything's looking good, but I don't know. I mean, it's green. Lately, Twitch has been really weird, guys. It's been telling me that my bitrate's terrible. Everything's falling apart. The stream elements is not working. Stuff like that.
Daddy, chill.
I'm trying to chill, but I can't. I have no time. I just feel so bad. I feel so bad for skipping yesterday. Like, my schedule is so ruined right now. But let's just start with it. So this is what, let me hide the TamaTalks, of course. No, wait, no. I was gonna talk about my day first. Okay, chat. So today I was supposed to lock in, and I did lock in. I've been preparing for a lot of things. I kind of want to do a special thing for Valentine's Day. And I should probably make an announcement on that hug Tamashii. I don't even think that's a command, but thank you anyway. I decided to make finally, it hasn't been made yet, but I'm going to add paying tiers to my Patreon. And so I'm just gonna make like a little small public announcement about it. Thank you. Thank you for the claps. I appreciate it. But I shared it on the Discord on the Patreon section. But also to those who have the free membership, there's going to be paying tiers to those who want to see like quote unquote exclusive content of me doing stuff. So it's gonna be 2 tiers. It's gonna be really crazy. Okay, now listen, just listen to me. There's gonna be 2 different tiers, 2 paying tiers. The really cheap one and the super duper expensive one. That is super duper expensive to deter you from paying from it, okay? Or for it, okay? That's the whole reason I have it super expensive. It's basically, I don't want you guys to pay for the super expensive one. But I just want like an excuse to do what I plan on doing. So basically, the 2 tiers is the $5 tier, which is called Shindoy Love tier. So that is where you can support me monthly in the cheapest way possible. And on the $5 tier, I'm going to be I will do my best to post free art for you guys to download of me and you. Of me and the Shindoys. And as you can see, the Shindoys are the little skulls with broken hearts and eyes. Those are you guys, so I call you guys Shindoys. And I will have like some sort of like artwork for free of me and you that you guys can download and only use for personal use and not, you know, use the AI NFT shit, of course, but there's rules, of course. Also, I also plan on possibly like sharing content ideas and my editing stuff. I've been wanting to record myself singing. I don't know how to mix at all, so I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be mixing music because I'm not. But I will try to like record myself with my IRL phone and my IRL body. And I kind of want to just like send you guys clips of like 30-second clips of me singing something. Because I feel like I sound way better when I'm singing not on stream and stuff. Maybe edit it, make it look pretty. I don't know, stuff like that. I also kind of want to work on voice acting. So if I edit something, that involves me voice acting, I might upload it on the $5 tier stuff like that. Little small things. I will do at least one thing, you know, that way you guys can have something to, you know, pay for $5. The reason why I'm saying that is because I don't think I can afford like free art for you guys every month. and that stresses me out. So I will try to compensate for the months that I won't be able to afford the free art. But that's just like a little nice thing, you know, a little extra, so you guys can see more of me and get to know me better. The thing is, when it, oh, and then can someone do exclamation mark Patreon? So you guys, if have for to whoever hasn't followed the Patreon yet, well, you can follow the Patreon. It's with a E. Oh, thank you, Ellie. So nandake. So that's the $5, just like little small basic thing, okay? Fail. No, it's okay. It literally sounds like that, so. On the massive, Allie, come on. What's it called? On the next tier, which is again super expensive, I don't expect anyone to pay for this. It's not like I want you guys to pay for this, but I'm actually doing this for my own sake. And I felt like, hey, if I'm gonna do this, I might as well see if I can profit from it to any gooners out there who would be that much of a gooner to pay this much for what this tier is gonna be. So basically on the free membership, there's gonna be a free membership that will still be going on. By the way, I forgot to mention this first. But I use that as a diary. So when I'm my doomer arc, if I'm feeling like a doomer, and if I need to write about my feelings and stuff, I can express myself very well in writing, and I will post those writings on Patreon as a diary entry, so you guys can get to know me better. Now, I want to do that in the other tier. That's gonna be $33 because it's Tamashii 33. That's my username. So I thought, okay, $33 a month for whoever's crazy enough to buy that option. But $33 a month to be able to have access to my sussy diary. So I personally feel like I don't have a healthy, not yet. I have healthier mindset of sussy stuff, but my mindset of sussy stuff is usually negative. So I figured I should try to explore that part of myself more, and through art form, and basically through sharing of like what I like. So I'm going to, on the $33 tier, it's going to be called Tama's Ecchi Diary. I will be sharing NSFW artwork of me every month. And on the months that I can't afford that, I will also be sharing like stuff that I do, stuff that I like, even stuff that I've stuff that I've watched, used. You get the picture. It's gonna be a diary for that stuff. I did lay some ground rules, so I encourage you guys to go to the, like, join the free membership and read the rules that I made for everyone. But I won't be sharing IRL photos of myself or IRL stuff of me doing stuff to myself, because that is illegal in Japan. I do not want to get deported, and I will not do that. But what's wrong with art? There's nothing wrong with art. So also with that art, it's going to be of stuff that I enjoy, right? Stuff that is to my preference. And it's also going to be art not involving another person. It's just going to be stuff that it's just me, myself, and I, okay? Again, at the end of the day, I am asexual, but I still have those urges. And so I need to not feel too negative when I start feeling those sorts of things, right? It's a natural human process that happens to everyone. And it's not something that I would do to someone, quite frankly, but because of that, I feel like I've been having a negative mindset of it. And so I feel like I want to explore myself more. And to whoever wants to see me exploring myself in that way, in the form of art, writing, and like sussy recommendations, they can pay $33 a month and have access to that. So all of this is supposed to be available by Valentine's Day JST. That is the goal. Right now I'm having issues like trying to connect my bank with Patreon, but we'll see if I can make that happen. I already have the NSFW art ready. It got completed today, actually. I hope it's attractive enough. I hope it. But if people were to donate more to the cause, I'd be able to afford more graphic stuff, I suppose. In my opinion, it's not that intense, but I do think it's attractive to the eyes a little bit. It's Valentine's Day themed as well, so it's like, oh, look at this, guys. Ha ha ha. And then I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have like a little self-introduction. Very, very strict rules. I will have very strict rules. So again, please follow the free membership first and read those strict rules. When it comes to the $33 membership, they will also have access to the $5 stuff and the free stuff. So they will have it all. So even if I don't give you sussy stuff, you still will have access to like wallpapers and art that are not sussy, but I'm pretty sure you will also get like sussy diary entries. So don't worry about that. I'm kind of shy about it. I don't know what I'm doing. This is very out of character for me, but I figured I've been thinking about it. Honestly, the only way to motivate myself to explore those things is if I get money for it. And also if I have like a private space for it. So again, which is why I made it expensive. For me, that's expensive. I wouldn't be able to afford that a month. But what's it called? It would motivate me to, explore my sexuality in a positive way. That's the whole point of it. I also want people to see things from like a person like me's perspective of life and sexual things. So, I mean, maybe I might be able to be educational, especially since I'm ace. I identify as asexual, so it might be very interesting for people to see how I do things and how I view things and whatever the fuck. Or I feel also that a lot of like people who identify as female kind of feel like I have before. So yeah, I will also use it as an educational form of doing things, I suppose. But that is a special secret announcement. I'm not really making it into a big thing, but that's happening. To whoever is lucky enough to hear this or be a member of the free membership and actually read the shit that I write on there, yeah, that's gonna be happening. I'm just gonna quickly say the number one rule is that I prefer if you have a partner, I prefer you not joining it at all. My community is small enough to where if I find out someone has a partner, I will ban them from it. So that's all. But other than that, that is the end of that conversation. I'm going to move on to the next topic. That was the quick announcement about the Patreon and stuff. You said how much? You said expensive. That's not even 1% of my monthly. Stop. I'm relocating funds for this, not for the NSFW, but because I can. It's okay. Okay. But yes. So you're selling your research. Yes, I am.
Hey,
Gaming fun.
Hello.
What do you think about yourself? Hello. Oh, you know Matrix? Oh no, Matrix saying hi to you. Never mind. Wait, can you say that again? Wait, say that again. Oh, thank you for saying you're a very good bad boy 3 times. Please read the pinned. Please read the pinned, and I will. Oh shit. I will quickly start the next combo. Again, trigger warning. Social issues, topics, dark topics, stuff that matters to me, and stuff that I feel should matter to other people. So please be respectful, and if you can't, you will be banned. Okay? We've had a lot of bad people in chat, and so the whole point of this is to learn and try to use not only critical thinking but empathy towards other people other than ourselves. Okay? In the bigger picture way. But yeah. Let's get to it. The pin wasn't here. I'm so sorry. Oh, why does stupid Twitch do that? I apologize. Here, I'll do it again. That's so annoying, guys. I don't know why the pin does that. I pin it before I start stream as well. IDK was pinned though. It was, but then it just was not pinned anymore. But yeah, okay, now I have it pinned. Now please read the pin. Okay, now let's start, okay? Okay, let's bring this out, shall we? Boop. This is where we... Oh my god, we can't see. My bad, y'all. This is where we left off last time, however. So let me just change the setup here for a bit. I'm going to move chat onto my head. I will also make chat smaller. Boop. And I think you guys like sitting on my head, right? If any of this inspires you guys to, you know, be charitable and donate to the cause, I'd be very happy if you donated to my fundraiser for the PCRF, Palestine Children's Relief Fund. And the proceeds go to Palestinian children in Palestine. Let me get rid of my TamaTalks, wherever the hecky it is. But like I said earlier, a lot of things is going on, chat, unfortunately. And I didn't manage to finish talking about it last time because there's a lot going on. But basically, last week we were acknowledging that about 3 weeks ago there was an official ceasefire announced by the states. Basically, they made it official, and we were reading like what the ceasefire requires and stuff, and the whole plan and whatever. And we left off on this page. I'm gonna read the rest of this, and then we're gonna investigate a little bit of what was announced today, literally today, by Trump, the Trump administration, concerning Gaza. Apparently, the US will take over Gaza, which sounds very scary and terrible, because I heard that they're willing to use the American military, and I don't know if that entails them, like, I don't know exactly what that entails. I hope the troops that are sent there are morally correct people, and yeah, let's get started with it. I'm on Tama's forehead. Yes, you goddamn are, Matrix. Yes, you goddamn are. Someone please tell me if anything goes wrong with stream. Because I don't have 2 monitors, chat. I'm a loser, guys. I don't have 2 monitors. I apologize. I can barely see anything right now. But yeah. So let me just reread this once again. So Trump exposed Biden, basically. Now this opinion might change a little. Well, I don't know. But it's true. Trump exposed Biden. Israel wouldn't have agreed to a ceasefire without pressure from Trump, whose envoy reportedly pressured Israel more in a single meeting than the Biden administration did in 15 months, according to Arab officials. Trump didn't do this out of love for Palestinians, of course. Of course, he's like a crazy person. Trump threatened all parties to agree to a ceasefire before his inauguration to boost his image as a deal maker and take Gaza off his presidential agenda. Remind me to teach you how to make your iPad into a second monitor. No, I can. I know how to, like, I understand that that's possible, but I'm just too lazy. I don't see how it's gonna fit in here. But honestly, I gotta figure out how to soundproof my room first. But anyway, sorry, I got distracted. There's also speculation that Trump may have used annexation of the West Bank and support for attacks on Iran as leverage. But this does prove what we've repeated for 15 months. The US could have always stopped the genocide, but refused to. Tens of thousands are victims of Biden's commitment to the Z word. We can't use that word on Twitch because calling Nazis Nazis is wrong according to Twitch rules. And that's basically what that Z word means. So yeah, very frustrating. I'm going to come out and say it once again, despite me, being kind of harassed by a somewhat bigger vtuber than me. But I decided not to vote because I was disgusted by the Biden / Kamala administration for being willing to slaughter a bunch of people. And not only that, to also throw my people under the bus and continue the anti-immigration racism that has now kind of made it normalized to assume that people who are dark-skinned, darker than me, basically, anyone who is assumed to be an immigrant, to be basically criminals, and willing to be, I don't know, didn't Trump say that they were gonna, anyone presumed to be a criminal was going to be sent to a prison made near the Guantanamo Bay prisons. Basically just saying that they're trying to make concentration camps for people who are assumed to have done something criminally wrong. Not proven, not alleged, nothing, just assumed. Okay, stuff like that. That was all prep, once Kamala and Biden started demonizing Mexicans and the cartel, basically making us not only Mexicans, also any Latinos / Hispanics / other people from different countries that are not white. Ever since they began also demonizing people like me, they normalized that type of thinking to the point when Trump won. People started harassing people like me and threatening us that they were gonna deport us. Lamau, they're gonna go. They don't care if the Palestinians get murdered. They're gonna go eat McDonald's again. All the liberals were saying that kind of shit. So it kind of just prove the point that there really needs to be a change in the government. And this is me going into politics, I suppose. I don't know nothing about politics. I try to keep TamaTalks as a way of me to talk about social issues for people to become aware of social issues, and have empathy for people, for Muslim people, for dark and black and brown people, you know, people that get ignored by everyone. You know, usually people don't care for our feelings, and we are left to just take the shit of it, shut the fuck up, and deal with microaggressions all the time. And I think as a VTuber, I would like to use my platform at least one fucking time every week to let, you know, in hopes that whoever's hearing me out and takes me seriously and is empathetic enough to want to learn more about what people like me go through, you know, so people can become more aware and stuff. And honestly speaking, when it comes to America, I'm a Mexican American, therefore I'm American. There just has to be a change because we're the superpower. We call the shots, and unfortunately, the shots that we call are always wrong. And it's led, like it says here, for tens of thousands of people to be dead, including children, including families, entire families being just annihilated. People I know, people that I've met being killed, you know, stuff like that. It's something that it's made me lose a part of my humanity. The fact that I'm not losing my mind anymore over this is very concerning to me. It made me numb to seeing, you know, corpses of innocent lives. So it's terrible, and basically I don't like the fact that everyone's just living their lives pretending like a Holocaust isn't happening right now. And if, you know, if I were to grow old and if people, you know, were to do the whole thing with the history books and be like, oh my god, the biggest tragedy on earth was the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians, you know, once everyone pretends that is horrible, and that and everyone pretends that it was just impossible, like how could anyone let this happen again, kind of thing, right? It's like, I want to be that old lady who's like, nah, I just wasn't an ignorant bitch, you know, I cared, and I will always spoke against that. And then if I have children, which, I mean, I don't plan on having children. I don't really want children. But if I do, they're going to be like, what happened? Well, no, not what happened. Sorry. Whoa! You saw nothing. I don't even know what I saw. I don't know why it disappeared. What the fuck? Just exposing me like that. My bad. I was talking about something serious and then booba came out of nowhere. But yeah, I want to be that old lady who's like, I knew it. I was there. I was right. I was at least on the right side of history. And although I haven't done much, I haven't done anything of value, honestly. I want to die without the, you know, with that kind of like regret in my heart. You know, I want to die knowing that at least I said something. You know, I didn't turn a blind eye. And if I were to be able to educate at least one person out there on this earth about stuff like this and change their minds, then that's good enough for me. And I have been able to do that, especially with my father. So this is the whole reason why I'm doing this. And we need to change the government. This is just too much. Like, what the fuck? At this point, like, really? We're just gonna be killing people all the time? Every, what? How long ago was the Holocaust? Like, what? I don't know, 50, 60 years ago? Are we gonna be doing this all the time? I mean, not even, like, we've done it with other countries, actually. We do this all the time, actually. Who are we kidding? We've done this to every other country. So, like, we need to stop that. Trump, huh? Yeah. Hi, Zachy, by the way. How are ya? So this is how things ended up going when it came to the fighting, I suppose. So it says strategic Israeli defeat. The guerrilla wins if he does not lose. The conventional army loses if it does not win. Interesting. On October 7th, 2023, for the first time in history, Palestinian resistant fighters gained control of besieged Gaza borders. Re-entered lands occupied since 1948. I'm gonna sneeze. Fuck. Sorry. I slammed my face on my mic. That hurt. Took control of several colonies and defeated a division of the Israeli military in battle. Israel vowed to fully destroy Hamas governing and military capabilities, annihilate Gaza as a coherent territory, and destroy a part of the Palestinian population. Only with these achievements could it claim victory. But after 50 months of total onslaught, Israel co-signed a deal with Palestinian groups it had pledged to destroy. The deal surrendered most of Israel's demands, leading an ex-security official to call it among Israel's worst deals ever, but admitted it was its only option. On Tuesday, which was like 3 weeks ago, U.S. Secretary Blinken admitted that Hamas has already replaced nearly all its fallen fighters with new recruits. Again, I don't support anyone, but I don't support killing of anyone. That's the whole goddamn point here. But the thing is that, if you kill my fucking family in front of me, and then you kill my cousins, and then you kill my brother, then you kill my sister, my grandparents, you kill everyone in front of me, wouldn't you go against that? Wouldn't you resist that? Wouldn't you fight against that evil? I will have more sympathy
what the hell do you think of yourself?
towards people who suffered like that, and that is my stance on that. Good in that I'm also so bad in good. So as ace as F. You're a what? Can you say that again? Oh, well, thank you for telling us that you're a very good bad boy. Ace as F. Ace as fuck? Is that your name? Welcome in. Hi, everyone. Just stopping by for a second to let you all know that I love you. Thank you for being so nice. Ace as fuck. Please read the pin, by the way. Trigger warning. I'm going to be talking about social issues and dark topics. So if you're uncomfortable with that, I do not apologize. Please leave and find a safe space for you. I'm also Ace, by the way. I'm assuming that's how you found me. But unfortunately, not a problem. Well, thank you very much. You're a very nice person for saying that and being willing to to hear me out. Yes, Ace as fuck. Let me just tell you something. Just giving you a fair warning. This is my most the TamaTalks Tuesdays. It's not Tuesdays, by the way. I skipped it yesterday, so I'm doing a replacement for it today. But TamaTalks Tuesdays, I take these conversations very seriously, so you'll see my serious self. But my usual self is very vulgar and gross vulgar. So trigger warning on that. If you decide to watch a different stream of mine, I am so sorry. I look forward to it. Let's go. I mean, ace people can say sex jokes, guys, can have dirty minds. It's not, but I don't want to have sex. That's all it is. It depends on the person. But yeah, thank you for following, and I hope you can listen in. Now let me read the next page of this. Israel was defeated by all the people of Gaza who stood their ground, defying plans for mass expulsions to Egypt, insisting they will live or die on their land. Palestinian families refused lucrative offers to join U.S.-Israeli plans to install a puppet regime. Journalists risked their lives to expose Israel's crimes, mobilizing millions of people around the world, including me, Tamashii, 33. Palestinians achieved this despite the unbearable cost. They're not superhuman. Their suffering is not normal. Their resilience shouldn't be romanticized. They won victory because they struggled for it. We will help them rebuild in defiance of Israel's genocidal vision. Israel walks away with a weakening economy, strained alliances, unprecedented sanctions, and with its soldiers fearing investigations from Brazil to Sweden to Thailand. That's actually a thing. A lot of these people, after, murdering a child and, chopping their heads off or something, they go and vacation to Brazil or Sweden or Thailand or other countries. In some countries with, morality, who have empathy for people in Palestine, they're like, if we have a war criminal coming here to our country, we're going to fucking send them to jail for war crimes, like no fucking duh. And that has that's brought a little hope for me in humanity, but my own country is not doing that, unfortunately, and basically being the anyway. I'm a Mexican American again, therefore I'm also American, and I'm very disappointed in my country. Palestinians have shown it's possible to confront Israel, defeat it militarily, and make political and strategic gains and survive. Never before has this been proven so decisively. It's not over yet. Our pressure is needed. So yes, just because there's an official ceasefire doesn't mean we can relax now. Doesn't mean I can stop talking about it. It doesn't mean I can go take a nap and forget about it. Doesn't mean I should stop protesting. It doesn't mean I personally should stop boycotting. It doesn't mean that I shouldn't try to do more to help these people. It doesn't mean that I should stop doing my fundraisers that I have decided till I stop streaming forever, that I will continue to do a fundraiser for all my streams. Once we complete a fundraiser goal, I will move on to the next fundraiser and add an extra $100 to the goal. I'm continually hoping to inspire my viewers to donate to the PCRF or anything similar to it. Okay? It doesn't mean I should stop that. It does not mean that. So number one, the deal takes effect tomorrow. Again, this was done like 3 weeks ago. This was posted on January 19th. We're really late. A lot of things has happened since then. But let's read this. Israel always exploits the last hours to intensify attacks. Since its announcement, Israel has killed over 100 Palestinians. So, they're pretty messed up. Once the ceasefire was announced to take effect on January 20th, I suppose, because it says here that this was posted on January 19th. Ever since this was posted, they decided to, just bomb carpet as many civilian places as they can and hopefully kill enough innocent lives before the ceasefire starts. And honestly, I've also been hearing news that they've been bombing other places in Palestine. I think it was Jenin that it was called. I apologize if I mispronounce or misremember the name of the place in Palestine that I'm talking about, but it's not like they've stopped trying to kill innocent lives. Number two, Israel can and often has broken ceasefires. Yes, like in Lebanon. Literally, it took them 1 day to be like, yeah, let's just kill everyone. Never mind, I'll take it back. Lamau, sorry, I had my fingies crossed. Lamau, and ended up, again bombing innocent lives in Lebanon. I actually have a viewer from Lebanon that joined this stream about a month ago, and were telling me how their neighborhood was bombed by Israel. And all they could do is continue to go to work, continue to live their normal lives as much as possible, and hope they're not next. You know, hope they're not killed next. And that's Samu. Samu hasn't been able to join our streams, which is fine. They're going through a lot. I have, however, seen Samu like my posts on Twitter, which makes me feel... It makes me feel happy that they're okay. It makes me feel like, okay, my chatter, my viewer is still alive. And this is how serious these things are. Because it's, you know, especially when it comes to content creators, streamers, and especially VTubers. VTubers have not been really doing much about this in terms of speaking out, or at least doing the bare minimum to not go against the cause of, you know, fighting against the second Holocaust. But you will have a chatter who's going through this. You will have a chatter who's died from this. And I have a chatter who's going through this now. That's how fucking personal it is. That's very personal to me. And I feel people don't care. And which is why I'm talking about this. And so we have to pressure. We need global pressure, and it says so right there in red. Global pressure is necessary to ensure it doesn't resume the genocide. Number 3, Israel has often re-abducted freed Palestinian hostages. So even if like they do this whole hostage swap, which I think it says how many hostages were being held here. Boop, boop. Boop. So Israel has to free 2,000 Palestinian hostages, while Hamas has to free 33 hostages that include women, children, and settlers over 50. But Israel has 2,000 Palestinian hostages, while Hamas has only 33 hostages. That's kind of odd. I wonder who's the bad guy here. Interesting. You just let the numbers talk, y'all. Anyway, moving on. Number 4. Gaza needs your help to rebuild. This includes donations, but also political pressure to keep its borders open, keep aid flowing in, and protect UNRWA. UNRWA is the #1 organization that funds and helps people who are suffering in Palestine. And Israel has falsely accused it of it being run by Hamas. Hamas, that's how they say it in Israel. The more racist you are, the thicker the H's. Hamas, like that. So that's like a good way to see how racist someone is. But the thing is that since it's been considered a terrorist organization by Israel, all the other evil colonizing countries who agreed to that without any evidence stopped giving aid to UNRWA. Even though before we had no problem giving aid to UNRWA so they could save and help people, one lie ended up limiting funds for them. So we need to protect UNRWA and make sure that we send aid to UNRWA so we can save as much Palestinian people as we can. Rebuilding is a political act. Number 5, Israeli leaders are turning attention to violently annexing the West Bank, which is basically colonized land that is in Israel, that has both Palestinian and Israeli civilians in it. But basically the Palestinians who live in the West Bank are treated as subhuman. So they're trying to, attack those people. Number 6, a ceasefire only stops direct violence, but the root problem is the structural violence. Siege, occupation, apartheid, colonization. This is our main fight. Yes, because there's a ceasefire. Okay, let's say they stop killing people. They've destroyed everything. What are they gonna do after that? Are they gonna force people to leave and go somewhere else instead of killing them this time? Are they gonna overtake the places that they've destroyed? Are they gonna be building McDonald's on those places? Are they gonna be building houses, stealing houses for Israeli settlers? That's the whole thing. We need a bigger picture here. A ceasefire, once again, is not enough. It never will be. Ceasefire does not equal the end of genocide. A ceasefire would end the direct killing of Palestinians in Gaza and is a vital first step. But we must be careful to not enable a less visible continuation of genocide. Palestinians will still be killed indirectly by injuries, diseases that cannot be treated due to the destruction of hospitals, the effects of prolonged starvation, severe air pollution, and unexploded bombs planted under the rubble, which have very beautiful tags on them that says, "Made in the USA, baby." Goddamn. Such a fucking embarrassment and shame. Because I myself have seen the places before. Like, I see the company who's made those bombs and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I know where that is. You know? My country, my tax dollars are funding killing people. Israel has created conditions calculated to destroy an entire population. Again, genocide. It destroyed most homes, hospitals, and schools, and poisoned water systems and farmland. Such conditions can't be reversed overnight, especially if Israel maintains its suffocating 17-year siege on Gaza. Ceasefire today, liberation tomorrow. Many people now will be tempted to celebrate, tune out, and get back to their lives. No, 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 no. Not me, and hopefully not you, to whoever's listening. The genocide has been exhausting, yes, but the hope and relief should only re-energize us to keep going. We woke up on October 7th, woefully unprepared, insufficiently organized, and too weak to play the role Palestinians needed us to. Despite that, we mobilized millions. We punished the Democrats. I did not fucking vote for those evil people. And that VTuber that was bigger than me, who is quote unquote woke, pro-woman, or whatever the fuck. That guy, and among many others, I think there's this guy named Tyga who was mocking people like me, calling us idiots because now Trump is president. It's like, oh, you got what you wanted now, huh? The world's ending. And I'm like, bitch, everything that bad that is happening right now currently has always been happening in the United States of America. And it's just happening faster. Everything that has been threatened against me is something I've been hearing for the entirety of my life since I was fucking born. You think I'm afraid of what the Republicans want to do with me? I've been prepared my entire life to be put on a concentration camp. What the fuck are you on? And if you weren't prepared for that, then you're privileged or you forgot. You forgot. You're cucked. You're satisfied with the bare minimum, okay? And I'm not a cuck. I'm not. Not to America. I've been treated like shit since I was born. My family has been treated like shit since I was born. And recently, I've experienced something very traumatizing where my family can't, you know, my grandfather had to die in a very terrible way. And I never got to see him again. Why? Because America saw an old man as a threat and deported him. And I never got to see that guy again because, you know, it's not really easy to be visiting dangerous places in hopes of seeing your family again. Things are very complicated. Everyone's situation is different. It's just kind of fucked up how, like, America has colonized parts of Mexico, yet my grandfather is the one being kicked out of those areas. And then I never got to see him again. Stuff like that. Where I've known people who have been put in those cages. Like, I know what it is. All of those fears I've lived my entire life, I've seen them. And these fucking vtubers who are pro-woman, pro-LGBTQ or whatever the fuck, pink washing the election, pink washing my people's pain, peace washing and pink washing. It's like, what I said to myself, I said, you know what? If it takes me losing my rights for a Holocaust to stop, then so be it. I'm not gonna vote for Trump because he's a piece of shit. I despise him equally as the Democrats and Kamala. But I will not fucking vote. I will not have that on my conscience that I voted for someone. Once again, I voted for someone that for 15 months didn't do anything to stop the killings. Yet this motherfucker, this asshole who also wants me dead, in one fucking meeting was able to do more than the fucking administration, the Democratic administration, in 15 months. I don't want that in my conscience. No, thank you. So I really like this sentence right here that says, punished the Democrats. That was the goal for me. You're not having my vote anymore. I'm not a cuck. I am sick and tired of seeing dead children. I'm sorry. And if people aren't empathetic enough to feel that pain of seeing some child screaming as they're seeing their dead father on the floor, seeing an old man, kind-hearted man, kiss his granddaughter goodbye and put her in a body bag, and then months later finding out that that man dedicated his life to his people to help them was also killed in December, a few days before his granddaughter's birthday. Stuff like that. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm not gonna vote for you guys. You lost my vote. Sorry, Nazi 2.0. But it's your fault if Nazi 1.0 wins, okay? Continuation. Diverted billions of dollars and swayed world governments, preventing the genocide from being even worse, as hard as that is to imagine. This was remarkable, but we need to do more. We must use this time to continue organizing, expanding, and building momentum to strengthen our movement. Our commitment is arguably more important during calm periods than massive escalations. The fight to liberate Palestine is a long-term one. It will be something that we will be doing forever, at least for me. At least for me. Over the past year, our movement has grown dramatically in both numbers and influence. Soon will be the time to regroup, renew our commitment, and strategize for the next phase. So stay informed. I recommend you guys to follow this very informative Instagram account. It's called Let's Talk Palestine. These are their, you know, channels and places that you can learn more about. And here are all of their sources. This is all of the sources that they use to make these very informational what pamphlets, I suppose. What would you call these things? Hey peeps. Oh, hi Salary. How are you? Nice to see you again. And here's more of their sources again. And we finished reading this. Now a lot has happened since then. But I want to see Let's Talk Palestine 2, which I prefer. It's there we are. I prefer this one. I feel like this one's also more informative. They post the same things, but sometimes they add daily what's it called? Daily updates. So, but it seems like ever since let me watch this first because I don't want to accidentally show you guys gore and traumatize you. So that's what I will do. I will do for now. My bad, y'all. Let's see. How do I hide it? I forgot how to use this. There we go. Boop. Now let me just check this out for a little bit. Tell me if you can hear the audio though. This was from 1 year ago. Not year ago, 1 day ago, my bad. It seems... Oh, I don't even have that. Oh, God, that is so loud. Can you guys hear that?
In 2014, people had gotten accustomed to the idea that Israel
you can. Ow, it's so loud, though, but... Terrible audio. But Norman Finkelstein is a son of the Holocaust survivors and is also a political scientist. Very, very consistent man who I hope I get to talk to someday and learn directly of what he's seen and experienced. It seems like there is blood in here, so I won't be able to show this. It shows a little bit amount of blood, but I don't want to risk it because of TOS. And so therefore we finished reading that. Let's go to that Instagram, not Instagram, my bad, not the kid. What's it called? What's it called? It's not Instagram. Twitter, to find out what this means about today's announcement. So this is just like breaking news basically, even though it was from 7 hours ago. But let me see, I woke up to this today. Let me crop this out more appropriately. Right, wait, here we go. Bottom right here. Oh, this is the stupid AI shit. But I'll read this and then I'll go to something that's not a stupid AI and then I'll read what it says. So this was updated 4 hours ago. Trump announces US takeover of Gaza Strip amidst global outcry. During a press conference with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, President Donald Trump announced that the United States intends to take over the Gaza Strip. He described Gaza as a demolition site and suggested the creation of a new area where the Palestinian population might not wish to return. Okay. This proposal has sparked international controversy, with reactions ranging from Saudi Arabia's rejection of normalization with Israel without a Palestinian state to Hamas labeling the idea as chaotic and defiant of displacement. displacement, my bad. So let's try to find an actual news article of this. That again isn't stupid AI. I wonder if Hassan talked about it. Let me go. I'm pretty sure he did, but I missed his stream today because again I have a live, y'all. But if it's short, we can react to it. Let me see. He's in Japan right now, so I don't even know if he... Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Let's put Hassan again. What is that channel that I follow? I forgot. Hassan. Is it Hassan Reacts? American education is failing. Really? Oh, notice that now? 13 hours ago. It seems like there hasn't been a recent update of this. Why Trump walks back tariffs? Oh god. Really? He walked back the tariffs? I didn't even... Shit. See, I'm way behind in this. Lamau. Okay, well, let's just look at the news articles, I suppose. I'm pretty sure... Oh, here's them talking about it, actually. Let's just watch. I don't want to give this idiot a platform. I'd rather just read this. Yeah, I'll read it myself. I don't want to hear his stupid ass face. Or look at it. Or voice, I mean. So, breaking news. Donald Trump declares U.S. will take over Gaza Strip after meeting with Netanyahu. Bad morning for Palestine sympathizers. Yes, I suppose. Trump said Palestinians should move to neighboring countries. Okay. So, again, so America's gonna colonize Palestine officially. That's what that means. I see. He said... Where are the turtles? Exactly. Where are the turtles? Hi, Vale. Oh, wait. They probably are seeing an ad break, Lamau. If you can... Wow, I misspelled trigger warning. I just noticed that. But please read the pinned. I apologize. I skipped yesterday's serious stream. But I will be talking about social issues, and if that makes you uncomfortable, then you should go find your own safe space and stuff. But I will be talking about important issues and stuff. We're almost... Oh my god, I'm already like in 20 minutes over the time limit that I put myself. But I'm just gonna read the breaking news of today, and then I'm gonna move to my personal topic that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to react to a therapist reacting to immigrant people who live in America who are immigrants, and also children of immigrants who live in America. So I wanted to react to that with you guys, so you guys can kind of get a feel of like what it's like for me as a Mexican American to live in America, or to have been born in America. But let me finish reading this. He said, "We will own Gaza, level the site, remove destroyed buildings, and create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs." Wow. Netanyahu hailed Trump as the greatest friend Israel has ever had. Oh, that's terrible. So, basically, how I interpret this, I'm just commentating on this. It seems like America, as of today, has officially announced that they will colonize Palestine themselves with the aid of Israel, and kick, hundreds of thousands of people out of their own land, unfortunately. This is terrible. This is actually terrible news. But I'll study more on this. This was just announced today. I'm sure by next week when I talk about this, I'll have more information and stuff. I really recommend to whoever cares to listen to Hassan and be updated on this sort of news. Okay, so we're gonna move to my second topic now. I was just looking at this to see if he talked about this specific announcement of today, but he didn't. This not yet. It hasn't been uploaded yet, so but yeah, Americans' education is failing. That has always been. Oh, and Finland is succeeding. Interesting. I wonder if he's gonna talk about other stuff. But anyway, I really recommend Hassan, and I really recommend this channel as well if you can't watch their streams, because they stream a lot. So yeah, let me get out of that. And then I also, once again, I recommend Let's Talk Palestine for daily updates on things about Palestine. Boop. Very good informational Instagram poster. Very good stuff. Now let's react to Jubilee. As we all know, Jubilee, I feel, is pretty psychotic. Sometimes, like, they do these little combinations where it's like, oh, tell me if you're racist and you're proud of it in front of the people you would be racist towards. And then they go and they sit and have a conversation about it. And I'm like, bro, what is wrong with you people? Why would you do this? How much are these people getting paid? Lamau. Let's see. Let me just fix this a little bit. Wah! There we go. Ding, ding, ding. Therapist reacts to. Oh my god. Fuck. There we go. My bad, y'all. I suck. Oh, shit. Okay. Let's try this again. There we go. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. It's on my head. Maybe I should move as well. Where should I put it, chat? Here? Here? On my head? Maybe I should put it here in the corner. Or do I have a big screen thing? Sorry, chat. I don't know what I'm doing. Give me a sec. IRL camera. Oh, this is where I was doing this. Naughty elves!
Naughty
oh my god,
elves.
Stop! I'm so sorry.
Eating your chocolate. That is so naughty.
That's so naughty. It's so bad.
That's Mason's chocolate.
It is Mason's chocolate.
What are you saying to them? Oh, okay.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Whoa.
Ow! That part is always so loud. My bad, y'all. With switch screens, let me get rid of the TamaTalks. This is a way better layout that I have here. Boop. Let me hide my throne, maybe. Can you guys see that? How does that look? Do you like the previous one, or do you like this one? This one. Maybe I need to make myself smaller. Guys, I probably should be smaller. Naughty elves. What if you move the chat under the heart? Under the heart. And move throne? God damn it. Throne down a little bit. Move chat under the heart. Da, ma, 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 ma. Under the charity bowl. Right part. Oh, I see. Or should I go back to the old one? I should just go back to the old one. I shouldn't be promoting my throne anyway. Guys, I don't think it's appropriate. I'm just saying. I don't think that's booyah bars. Personally, I just don't. That is not booyah bars. That is not booyah bars, guys. Okay, I'll move you guys. Like, you can put... Can I put
One eternity
oh
later.
My god. Cállate tú. Cállate. I'm gonna put you down here. Fucking hater. So only haters here, chat. Rah! Craw! Okay, stop. And then I'll move myself a little bit to the left. To oh, that's not my left. That's my right. To my right. To my right. Yeah. I think that's good. Kinda. Kinda looks bad, but it's fine. It's fine. Whatever, guys. It's fine. Oh, I need to turn off the music, nah. That way we can hear them. And I'll be reacting and confirming stuff and whatever. Or not confirm, or like, you know, maybe I'll have a different opinion from these specific immigrant slash American born people from immigrants. But let me stop the music. Boop. And actually, let me update the stream. So there we go. There we go. Now I'm reflecting on my immigrant trauma. Let's go. Boop. Yosha. Okay. Tell me if you guys can hear the YouTube
Hey, what the hell do you think of yourself?
Oh, what the hell do you think of yourself, Buff Kirby? What does that mean exactly? Can you explain yourself? Oh my god, you're literally Buff Kirby. You're a very good bad boy. Ah, you're a very good bad boy. I see, and I can see that. Literally, you're Buff Kirby. I mean, like, it's true. It's goddamn true. Just trigger warning, please read the pinned. I will be talking about social issues and dark topics that matter to me. If you are uncomfortable with that, please find your own safe space. Right now, I'm going to be reflecting on me, immigrant trauma, I suppose. I'm going to be reacting to a therapist reacting to people who are immigrants or people born from immigrants and their opinions on stuff. Jubilee's pretty evil, I feel. Sometimes they're kind of psychotic with these like conversation starters that they do with people, but we'll see what happens, I suppose. Or should we watch the original? I don't know. Should we watch the original or should we? I don't know. They did not link to the original. It's fine. We'll do this.
But there's a billion people in China.
Right,
I'm not denying what you went through.
Right.
But I think you'd be missing an opportunity.
He just shared something very traumatic and vulnerable, and then you're going to dismiss it by saying, well, there's lots of other people who have gone through similar or worse things.
I like her earrings.
I don't like that. Hi, I'm Dr. Han Ren,
Hi,
licensed
Han.
psychologist and mental health
Audio
content
works.
creator.
Thank you.
Today we're going to
dark
be reacting
topics.
to Jubilee's video,
serious
Immigrant Parents
stuff,
versus
yeah.
First Generation. Let's dive in.
I am an immigrant and I am a parent.
Born in India, 3 kids.
Okay. I feel like I should make this bigger for some.
I am from Brazil.
Can you guys see?
Born was 7 months when we came in.
I am first generation Nigerian Cameroonian American.
Okay.
I would describe myself as a daughter of immigrants.
I love that I know exactly where my roots are.
Ooh, this is gonna be a doozy. This one hits really close
A
to home.
doozy.
I'm
I haven't heard that in a
1.5
long time.
generation American, Chinese American. So I was born in China and immigrated to the U.S. when I was 5 years old.
Oh, wow.
So I very much personally relate to these type of conversations with my own parents.
I am Fanny. I am 41, and I'm a filmmaker. And
Oh my god, I feel so bad. I thought she said she was like literally funny. Like, haha, guys, I'm a jokester. No, her name is Fanny, guys. Okay, remember that.
I grew up in Venezuela.
Oh, Venezuela.
Christine. I'm 28 years old, and I'm first generation Chinese American.
I am Romi Singh. I'm 57 years old. I was born in India, and I am an immigrant, father of 3 children born in America.
This is going to be juicy. There's so many different perspectives and lived experiences across generations, and
No, yeah, there
I'm curious
is.
to see what they're going to say.
I feel like I have a better life than my parents did.
I feel like I have a better life than my parents did. Yes. Of course, everyone sits there. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Everyone agrees.
Yeah.
I would agree with that too.
I feel like I was able to be more expressive here. I'm like openly queer. I also talk about my mental illnesses pretty openly, and I feel like that's something my parents were never able to talk about.
Oh, that's absolutely true. There's so much stigma about mental health in a lot of communities of color and a lot of immigrant communities. I think part of it is just the priorities on survival. Being able to talk about mental health was a luxury when you are trying to put food on the table. And so that is a gift that our immigrant parents have given to us, to be able to focus on, the nuances and the quality of life rather than just being able to live and survive.
Now that's the thing too. She's well spoken. She knows what she's talking about. What's it called? No, yeah. A lot of people, even I, despite me not being able to express myself very well when it comes to mental health, that is something that I just barely am doing in my age. But I don't know how to express myself. I find it very difficult to do so. And it's really made it very difficult for me to be able to build a relationship with anyone in a valuable, meaningful way. I don't know how to do that. And it's simply because, like she said, we don't have time for that for people like us, because our whole focus is on survival. And so despite me being very privileged and getting a lot of things that my family never did, I was raised with that mentality despite being privileged. Like, hey, Tama, you got to work. You got to go to school. You got to make sure everything, you do everything by the book. You got to survive. Because when we're gone, you're on your own. You have no one. And so I've just really lived my life that way. I kind of I went against my family's wishes a little bit by ending up kind of doing the same thing that they did, leaving my own home country. Not my native country, because America's not my native country, but my home country. Even I was born in America, but I'm Mexican, so I've never really known my native country. But leaving my home country and then moving to Japan, it was like the ultimate betrayal. It's like, bruh, what the fuck? All of the sacrifices that we did so you could live a better life in America, and you're going to fucking Japan? Oh shit, I forgot that when I press numbers, it skips through the video. Fuck. So I feel pretty guilty about that. But my dad has been really supportive. My dad told me, hey, if I did it to find a better life, then you should too, Tama. So, but a lot of my extended family that I'm not really close to don't really feel the same way, unfortunately. But one thing that I do agree with is that I've lived a way better life than my parents have, for sure. And that it's a type of guilt that I think I will live with forever. And a lot of these people who agreed to it will also live with forever.
Luxury when you are trying to put food on the table. And so that is a gift that our immigrant parents have given to us, to be able to focus on, the nuances and the quality of life rather than just being able to live and survive.
I feel out of touch with my cultural roots.
Yes. Yes, I do. Because I was born in America. Well, you know, I can't go back to my native country due to safety reasons. It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard not being able to know much about my own goddamn culture. You know, I feel like I know more than most people like me who were born in America. I haven't been like fully Americanized, which is odd. My parents speak Spanish to me, so I know how to speak Spanish, understand Spanish, but even that I'm losing, you know. I only speak Spanish to my mother because she can't speak English. And well, that's like the only part of me that that can really help me hold on to that part of my cultural roots. My face, how I look like, I suppose, my hair. That reminds me that I'm Mexican, but like I don't have a community. I don't have anyone that looks like me. I don't, other than my small, like my immediate family, but it's pretty hard. It's like, okay, do I know how to cook these, like my own dishes, like Mexican dishes? Can I do it? Yes. What about other historical things about Mexico? Do I know that? Holidays, anything? Nothing. You know, it's hard. It's difficult. I feel very out of touch with my cultural roots, and that is also something that I am ashamed of. I think all kids can relate that they live better life than their parents. Yes, but it depends. It depends on what type of child they are. If they're a child of immigrants, it's more intense than anyone who is a child of people who of people who live in a country where everyone looks like them, and they will always benefit from, you know, their country's government. And, you know, don't have to worry, don't have to face the fact that they won't be able to see a part of their own culture, a part of their own lives, possibly ever, due to many reasons. It's not something that all kids can relate to. Some kids are more privileged than others.
Oh, yeah, that's a really hard one. It's so difficult to maintain cultural roots when you're immersed in Western ideology and Western culture. You have to really make an effort to have that connection to, you know, ancestry and
I don't know
culture and
nothing about my
context.
I think
ancestors.
also too, a lot of like the cultural norms of like Nigerian Cameroon, I don't agree with. For example, hitting your kids is acceptable, and I don't agree with that, and I do not like that's how I was raised.
I have so many thoughts on the use of corporal punishment in communities of color. I think the narrative that a lot of communities of color have used is that this is cultural, this is what we know. But over time, I think it's really easy to conflate culture with trauma. Just because you've experienced it doesn't make it okay. It doesn't mean that you have to pass that legacy on to your children. When you think about the systemic trauma that all of these communities of color and people of the global majority have experienced in the past century, it's just brutalization of bodies and colonization and all of these things that very much normalize violence against bodies. And so it feels normalized, but that doesn't mean that it is or that it has to be transmitted down. Now that we have other tools and other ways to parent, I don't think that spanking needs to be part of parenting anymore.
I think for me, it's
That's very interesting. I've never heard a take like that ever, and it kind of is, what's it called? It's like very, oh, why am I still angry? My bad. I think it reveals a lot, actually, if you think about it. It's like kind of an eye-opener to me right now. Because if you think about it, to the people who have been colonized, once they were colonized, they were brutalized. So it's been throughout history, it's been seen as normal for people of color to be brutalized. That was enforced upon us for years and years and years. And of course we see it as normal. We've always been abused. And if you want your kid to listen to you, well, you know what worked when when you had to listen to your colonizer was brutalization of your body. That's a very interesting take. I used to be one of those people who agreed with corporal punishment, because of course I was hit when I was a child. If I did something wrong, I would be hit with either a belt, I'd be slapped, or I would be, you know, I would be spanked, you know, in and sometimes even worse. But I was the type of person who learned very quickly. It's like, okay, if I do this, I'll get the shit, like I'll get beat up. Maybe I shouldn't do that, Lamau. So I was, you know, throughout my life, I'm like, hey, it happened to me. That kid's a bit too loud. Let's spank, you know, spanking is fine. But as I was growing up, I noticed that every time I saw like a parent go overboard with their kid, when their kid was just being a kid, I would have like this like intense, it was crazy, like very intense reaction within my chest. Like I would feel rage, like intense rage within myself. It's like, and I couldn't understand why, because I thought I agreed with corporal punishment. Ever since I started teaching children and started working with kids for the first time ever, like I used to be deathly afraid of children. Now I love them. But I started working with kids like 4 years now, and every time a teacher goes overboard, again that same feeling, just fucking rage. And I'm like, why are you a teacher if you can't handle a kid being annoying? You know, like, this is not normal. Let the 5-year-old have their moment. Like, yes, it's annoying. Yes, they're being a bad kid. They're a kid. There's no need to be yelling profanities, be yelling at their face, be rough handling them, shoving them, pushing them. There's just no point. And I've almost like fought with teachers before over this. Like I'm always ready to pull like you know, like, come on, let's fight. You want to fight the kid? Fight me, bitch. You know, stuff like that. I will lose too. I'm not a fighter, by the way. I will definitely lose, but part of me just kind of accepted the fact that no, I don't think corporal punishment is good. If I'm having this intense reaction where maybe it's the child in me that felt betrayed by my parents whenever they would hit me over things that I felt didn't really necessarily require them to hit me over. You know, I think it's my inner child basically still living in me. And I guess, you know what, I can agree. It's like, yeah, corporal punishment is not a good thing. But the thing is like, if you think of it historically and realistically, it's like, of course, people of color, black and people, black/people of color, have are more lenient towards punishment towards their children, because for years and years that's what the colonizers did to them, and that's what eventually led them to believe, despite it being wrong, believe that it is right to do that to your own kids, because that's just how people who were colonized were treated. They were brutalized. That is a very good take, and I think I agree with it.
It's that I don't feel necessarily Asian enough, nor do I feel necessarily American enough. I know that a lot of my Asian friends would say I'm very whitewashed.
I so relate to this. 1 foot in each world, belonging to neither. That was a narrative that I grew up a lot with growing up.
And when I speak Cantonese or Chinese, like, oh, why do you say it like that? Oh, you don't know how to say that.
Yeah.
And then when I have non-Asian friends, they would say, oh, like, you're very Asian. Like, what, like, you use chopsticks? Or, oh, you only want to get Asian food all the time. time. So then there's always like these other people always chiming in about me and my cultural identity that I never really get a chance to really define myself in that.
That's right. Everyone has an opinion on
Yeah.
cultural identity, but not everyone gets to influence how you view your own cultural identity. Just because other people have opinions on it doesn't mean that you have to listen to them. But it's really a normal thing to not feel like you belong anywhere, so then you have to fit in these different places and different spaces that you occupy. There's a lot of code switching, there's a lot of masking. All of that can be really exhausting. You know, we grow up in communities where there are lots of people who have similar backgrounds and lived experiences. We have to kind of hodgepodge communities, and that's why, you know, third culture kids or children of immigrants from lots of different global communities come together, because that immigrant mentality is similar enough, but it's still really not the same as growing up in a place where everyone is Asian American or Chinese American. More specifically, that can give people a sense of belonging in ways that feeling like just that odd one out doesn't allow for.
Maybe I misunderstood the question, because I definitely identify with, you know, not feeling American enough or not feeling Asian enough. But I feel like when I think cultural roots, I think like family values that my parents instilled in me, you know, being kind and, you know, being generous and taking care of family and
Taking care of family. There's so much collectivism in communities of color. It's a very stark difference from Western ideology, from American culture. And I think that can be very much a shock to the system, because
Hey,
it's so used
what the
to-
hell do you think of yourself?
What the hell do you think of yourself, babe? 510. Oh, wait a second. So, what does that mean? You're a what? Uh-huh. I see. You're a very good bad boy. Well, thank you for telling us 3 times. Nice. I'm going to sneeze. I'm sorry. Phew. Phew. Wow. Fuck. Thank you, Babe510, for following. You are my 400th follower. I did not expect that to make that today, but yeah, we have 400 followers, guys. Let's go. Bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Gracias. Gracias. Please read the pinned trigger warning. TamaTalks Tuesdays. I know it's a Wednesday. I skipped yesterday, so I'm making up for it today. But TamaTalks Tuesdays are dedicated to social issues and dark topics that are important to me. So if that's not your cup of tea, please go find your own safe space. But please read the pin. Right now, I'm reflecting on my immigrant trauma, or children of immigrant parents, stuff like that. This is a therapist reacting to a Jubilee video of children of immigrants, and I'm just like trying to see if I like also identify with whatever's being said here. I feel so bad for her. I stopped at a very terrible time. Her eyes are halfway closed. Lamau, let me play that right now. Boop.
First, and we're really raised with that mentality that we go out into the world and we think about the group, and then we can really get exploited and taken advantage of because the dominant culture just doesn't think like that here. It's very hyper individualistic.
For me, because my parents...
Yeah, very hyper individualistic. Unfortunately, my family's kind of weird. We had to, or my parents had to basically, I don't know, they like, you take care of family, it's expected of you to be taking care of the family or something like that. But I only know my mom and my dad. That's my family, right? And my bro. That's my family. Anyone else is like extended family, and they still support us when they need to, but it's not like we're close or anything, or emotionally close and stuff. It's just like for survival, it's like, yeah, we rely on family, and that is that. But I do have this strong urge of protecting my family, and you know, if I'm in charge, I'm the eldest daughter as well, so I feel like this sort of responsibility as well with my family, of me trying to keep things in order when I need to and stuff. And so me leaving that and branching out by myself and living independently without any help or anything is very out of character, culturally. That's like me being super American. Which is weird, but I still have that community sense of like, shit, like I have to take care of the fam. I have to figure things out somehow for the fam at all times, kind of thing. So yeah, definitely I do agree with the whole family value thing.
Parents are in the States too, so they really, my dad makes arepas, and, we have a WhatsApp group with my family, and I check it every morning, and they keep me updated to what's happening. And I try hard to instill that in my kids. It's hard.
Do you feel like the only way to keep that is through like generational ties? Because I didn't grow up with grandparents. All of my grandparents died by the time I was 7, so I didn't know.
I met them for a bit, but it was very limited.
Like, most of them have passed away as well.
Certainly.
Yep.
Yeah, generational ties. Family helps, but so does chosen family. I think if you are privileged enough to live in a community where there are a lot of people with similar cultural backgrounds, then you can absolutely have chosen family and the ability to have generational ties, cultural ties through other members of the community. And it's really hard to kind of excavate and discover that for yourself if you don't have mentors and other people who are guiding you in this journey.
I spoke English in my home growing up.
No. Yes. No. Going back to what she was saying, yeah, I don't have any generational ties. It's pretty devastating, even with my grandfather's death, it's not necessarily that I felt sad that he was dead. It was more I felt sad for my father who couldn't see his father. But emotionally speaking, I feel nothing for that man. I felt more pain for my father who had to do a lot, who went through a lot during that time in December. And same goes with my mother. But like having no connection, no family, I don't know, when people talk about their grandparents and how much they love their grandparents or they hang out with their grandparents, I'm just like, I wonder what's that's like. Like I can't imagine that. That's just something very foreign to me. A lot of things are very foreign to me simply because I don't have the privilege of knowing what it's like to not survive, to not be on survival mode all the time, and also to just have a family in a sense. My parents have always focused, and still to this day have been focusing on surviving. And for me as well, focusing on surviving as I try to be independent. And so it's like I've never had the time to just sit down and connect with people, especially with my family. So that is very difficult. It's very hard. So whatever she was talking about, that is weird to me. It's like, wow, they have a WhatsApp group and they talk to each other. That's crazy. I've never heard of that before. Like, and she's Hispanic, by the way. Everyone's different, of course. She's from Venezuela, so I don't know anything about people from Venezuela, but yeah, that's just super foreign to me. Oh yeah, and then did you grow up speaking English in your household? I was born speaking Spanish, and I spoke Spanish till I was 5 years old. And so I only spoke purely Spanish, and it was until my parents decided out of nowhere. Well, I guess it wasn't out of nowhere, but my parents decided to freaking throw me into a preschool, a Christian preschool. Not even, it was Catholic, a Catholic preschool for like white kids. And so they threw me in there, and all of a sudden I'm surrounded by white kids who speak English. And I remember it was so super fucking traumatizing. I'm like, what the fuck are these white kids saying? I don't know what the fuck they're saying. But I think after 2 weeks, I was talking in English. Like my brain was on survival mode, and eventually I learned how to speak English through literally through survival. So once, which was the strat, I suppose, my parents knew that I would eventually be able to learn English because they didn't know English, so they couldn't teach me English. And since I was going to be in public school anyway, like, I think they knew I was going to have a difficult time being able to go to a public school filled with people who only speak English. And imagine me being the only one speaking Spanish would be hard for me to do. So I think my parents did a good job at throwing me into a random little preschool filled with white kids so I could learn English. So after that, I had this thing where I only spoke English outside of the house, but inside of the house, I would speak Spanish to my family. But slowly and surely, when your entire life is filled with English, you know, you have to speak to people in English, you have to fill forms in English, you have to study in English, you have to you have to debate in English, you have to do projects in English, and never studying Spanish because, again, this is, you know, it's like, of course my Spanish is going to end up being shit. The Spanish I know is just Spanish purely learned from speaking. Same with English. I've only learned that naturally after I was 5, but now it's like, it's not like I know how to, I think it's not like I know how to write in Spanish. I mean, I do, but like, I think I would do a terrible, I think I probably have like a 3rd graders, 4th graders level of reading and writing in Spanish. So like, it's not like I know how to read and write properly in Spanish, and so, which is sad. But I'm able to do that in English at a very high level. You know, it's weird. So I would say in the household, only to my dad nowadays. My dad can speak English now, so dad speaks to me in English. But my mom, I only speak to my mom in Spanish. So in the household, I started out speaking Spanish, and then eventually I still speak Spanish, but now eventually English was implemented in there. So I don't know if that's a yes or no. I guess a yes.
In a family that spoke the same language at all. My dad speaks Igbo. My mom speaks a combination of like Pidgin English and French, and I only know English. My parents, I always make this joke.
Hi, Tayo, by the way.
Whenever I try to correct them when they say something.
Oh, hi, Star. Good morning.
So, that's the only language that we can all connect through.
I think also my parents wanted me to assimilate into the U.S. as much as possible, so everything they said and everything that they ever read and was in English.
Oh, that one's so different by family, because my parents wanted me to retain my native tongue as much as possible, so we try to speak as much Chinese in the house as we could. And then I also know plenty of other Chinese people who has the same experience as this guy, where they wanted the kids to assimilate and blend in as much as possible. So English was the only language spoken. I know when I was a kid,
Drink
I
water,
wanted
you
to fit in so
dehydrated
badly,
bitch!
I didn't want.
Oh shit, you're right. Well, I don't have water, but I have lemon soda. Oh wait, I lied. There's water right here. What a goddamn liar. What a freaking little liar, dude. Okay, let me drink water. What the fuck did I just drink? Can water go bad? What the fuck? Oh, fuck. I'm not drinking that shit. I'm drinking my lemon soda. Go men, guys. I just drunk poisoned water. It's over. Sayonara. Thank you, Vale, for the water redeem. So assimilation. I despise that word. I hate it. Because when I went to school, I went through forced assimilation. Now the thing is, of course, there were gonna be some like other Mexican kids going to a purely mostly white school, right? And so what ended up happening eventually is that, you know, I would connect obviously with the kids that looked like me and who only spoke Spanish. And just as planned, poisoned Tama. Ugh! Wait, what do you mean? What? Fuck, they got me again. Again? I mean, they got me the first time. That was the first time. Right? I don't think... No, I won. Last time I fought you, I won. That's what I remember. So... Anyway... anyway, what was I saying? Shit, Oh, yeah. So yeah, I would talk Spanish to, like, the Mexican kids, you know, the kids who were daughters and sons or whatever they identified as, of the farmers. I grew up with like, you know, basically farming family. Most Hispanics are children of immigrant farmers. And so yeah, the thing is that by fourth grade, which I'm assuming I would be like 8 or 9 years old, I can't remember, but by fourth grade, I would get punished for speaking Spanish. I would get punished for speaking my native language to people who looked like me. We would all get punished and stuff at school. I don't know why. And so eventually, I was forced to only use English, even outside of my household, even in school, despite me knowing people who could speak Spanish, who by rare chance were people who looked like me, who could culturally relate to me. We were forced to assimilate. It wasn't a natural process. We were forced to not speak our native tongue, which was really sad, because by doing that, it also kind of, I was a child, of course, it also kind of ended up making me a bit racist. You can be racist by yourself, by racist against your own culture, Chad. Did you know that? It ended up me looking down at my parents for only knowing Spanish. For some reason, it ended up turning me more into an American, brainwashing me into thinking that I was better than my parents for knowing English. It was terrible. I'm very ashamed that as a child I thought that. Especially now that I live by myself in a foreign country with absolutely no one who can relate to me and look like me. You know, the only way I can cope with life sometimes and find comfort is by hearing Mexican music, you know. That's the only comfort I have. And so it's a goddamn shame. And I say that with actual, like I actually mean that. It is a goddamn shame that I was forcefully assimilated in the United States of America and basically brainwashed into thinking that I was superior than those who were just trying to protect me and hope I have a better life. Especially with the parents that she's mentioning, a lot of people like me who were born in America, their parents were ashamed and did not teach their children how to speak their native language out of safety and shame. The shame part came with the safety part. They're connected, as in to protect their child from being hate crimed, from being attacked for not being white, you know, being racially discriminated. Some parents believed it was necessary to not teach their children anything about their native cultural heritage. So some people end up not speaking Spanish or whatever their mother tongue is, despite them having parents who can only speak that. It's kind of crazy. And they do that out of the safety for the children. I would never do that if, again, I don't want kids. But if I do have a child, I will make sure they will speak Spanish and English. Like, of course, everyone has to learn English anyway, so that's a no given. But I will make sure that they can speak Spanish. My kid will not be a kid that does not speak Spanish. And I know I'm not capable of keeping like native cultural things alive, but I would like to instill that in my child in a healthy way. Unlike me, who was basically brainwashed as a child. It's kind of fucked up. You say about you talking with the kid that were like you. What do you mean? You say about you talking with you were reminding me of what I was talking about. Yes. Thank you, Matrix. I've met several kids like that in high school when I was in high school. Yeah, exactly. No, don't do this to me, no. And then I think I'll do like 30 more minutes of this. Oh my god, it's only been 8 minutes through this video. And now it's lagging. It's already lagging, chat. How much is this? 8:47?
Want to be connected with my Chinese culture and roots. I didn't want to speak the language at home. My parents would speak to me in Chinese and I would respond in English. And then as I left the
that
house
is rude.
and grew up, I really had some regret about not speaking more Chinese, because language is one of those things that if you don't use it, you lose it. And I have a lot of grief around how broken my Chinese is these days because I haven't been practicing it. So I try to do more activities where I can integrate that connection now.
My mom speaks English and my dad does not. So a lot of the times I'll communicate in both, and my friends will hear me on the phone and I'll go from Chinese to English and they're like, "You're speaking Chinglish." I'm like, I am. Like, my parents understand both.
Chinglish is beautiful. I love being able to speak Chinglish to my fellow Chinese American friends, where we can say, most things in English and then every once in a while throw in a Chinese word and just like, there's no English word for this. There's just this resonance. It's this deeper felt experience of connection that is really lovely. And I know this is true for people who speak, multiple languages, and just the different words that we have in different languages to capture experiences.
Sometimes I'm disappointed in myself if I can't find the Chinese word because I feel like I'm losing my Chinese.
The struggle is so real. I've absolutely experienced this with my children as well. When they were really little, I put them in Mandarin school, and I grew up having to go to Chinese school, and I think any child of immigrant can relate that, oh my gosh, their Saturdays were spent in language school, and it was kind of a miserable experience. No one really loved that, and my kids didn't like going to Mandarin school, and I had to make a decision at a certain point. Do I want them to really be immersed in the language and like fight that battle where they feel miserable and are not excited about what they have to do? Or do I want to cultivate their more genuine interests? And I had to make a decision around, do I want them to go to dual language schools where there's more cultural classroom management elements that are culturally Chinese versus other schools that maybe aren't dual language but then have more focus on social emotional learning, for example. And it's a really, really hard decision because there's trade-offs and there's pros and cons to each.
I love talking to my sister who also speaks 3 languages, and depending if we want to exchange some secret, even in front of our kids, we usually speak in whatever language the others don't understand.
I really feel that. My partner doesn't speak very much Chinese, but he speaks a little bit, and when my kids were little, we would switch to Chinese when we wanted to talk about them in front of them, but now they're catching on, so it doesn't work as well, and they're a little more sophisticated. And I also really resonate with, using language as a way to connect to where you come from. As my grandparents have aged and passed away, I have less and less opportunity to practice my Chinese, and my dialect from where I was born in Shanghai, China, Shanghainese, I never speak it anymore because that's not the dialect that most Chinese Americans speak. They speak Mandarin. So I do feel a very visceral sense of loss in not being able to practice and hone my native tongue anymore. And it was my first language.
Do you find yourself?
It was. That's so crazy that you can lose your first language
very easily.
Yeah. Without knowing.
Well, there's certain things you can say in English easier than in Spanish, and vice versa. Like the word for love in Spanish, we have like 10 words for love, and English is love, so there's certain things that are easier in a certain language.
But is it bad that I don't really want to speak my mother tongue that much? It's mainly because it's tethered to really negative emotions. My father was abusive towards me, so a lot of the yelling and a lot of the conflict and then a lot of the screaming was all done in Chinese. So whenever I hear Chinese now, I associate that immediately with that violent household. So that's why even when my friends, they love to speak Cantonese to me, it's that's awesome. yay, but I don't really want to speak it back because it's associated with such anger.
Oof, this is a doozy. There's such validity in how language can be so paired with traumatic experiences. And it actually really speaks to the generational trauma that this person's experiencing. His father probably experienced abuse as well. And if you're not aware of that and you're not actively trying to break those cycles, we do what we know. It makes sense as part of this person's own process of cycle breaking that he's creating distance between him and his abusive father through creating distance between him and the language that he experienced that abuse in. And when you are not aware of how generational trauma is being passed down, it's really easy to replicate these patterns. So I really commend him for taking this extra step to break the cycle by noticing how he gets triggered and what is triggering to him.
The thing is, though, the thing about that is that even I'm feeling like judgmental, which is very wrong of me to feel, but at least in my culture, that's a sign of betrayal. It's like refusing to speak your own native tongue is actually an embarrassment and something to be ashamed about. So, but the thing is, it's true. I don't like cussing in Spanish a lot because I associate the abuse I faced as a child, and all of the abuse I felt was in Spanish most of the time. Actually, I ended up not cussing at all until recently, until I basically started, I don't know, until I moved to Japan. That's when I started finally cussing my lungs out. So now I cuss whenever I can, but there's a lot of triggering words that I use now in English that I would have never used like 3 years ago. For example, like literally everything I say. Literally everything I say I would have never said like 3 years ago. And so I can understand where he's coming from, but it's weird. People change. I understand people have the right to learn a language or not. And I'm basically I did the same thing as him, not through language, but through moving away from my family into a very far away foreign place. When I went to actually go visit my family members, I'm the type of person, again, I'm not connected. It's only me, my dad, my mom, and my brother. Any other person that is connected through name or blood is an extended family member that I'm not close to at all. And I don't see value in trying to connect with someone who's never tried to connect with me my entire life, and they're supposed to be family. So the only people that I do connect with that are extended family members are my godparents. So they're not even like, they're godparents is a Catholic term. It's people who are your like replacement parents in the Catholic religion. These are the Fairly Odd Parents. Basically, that's what it is. Godparents. That's where the Fairly Odd Parents is inspired from. They're technically supposed to be like Catholic supervisors of your faith. They will take care of you and basically are your second pair of parents. So if anything were to happen to my parents, I would automatically be adopted by my godparents. This is when I grew up. I grew up Catholic, then I turned Christian, and then I turned Seventh-day Adventist, which is Christian actually. And then after that, now I don't believe in religion, and I don't consider myself an atheist, but you know, I'm still figuring that out. But I went to go meet my godparents because, again, my godparents would take care of me when my parents couldn't. And so as a form of gratitude, I made sure to go visit them and give them my blessings. Now, my godfather, like, again, my family's so broken that even my godparents aren't able to connect with me in a deep emotional level. They're exactly the same like my parents. They rely on survival. They focus on survival. There's no time to be emotional. But lately, I feel like my godparents have also been through very traumatic experiences. And he decided to, he has always not been supportive of me moving to Japan, and that always frustrated me. And anyone from my extended family never really has. They always kind of mock me and kind of put me down for moving to Japan. Again, they see it as a form of betrayal. And I always have to be like defending myself. And what I say is like, I just want to be happy, and I can't be happy here. So let me go try to be happy somewhere else. It's been pretty hard. I still don't feel happy yet, but I feel better than when I used to live in America. And, you know, all the time I've always had these conversations, and they're like, but Tama, you should at least move to a place that we can visit you, that we can be near you and stuff. We're family. The thing is like, but you don't, it's like, do you even know my trauma? Do you know what color I like? You've taken care of me, of course. Yes, I understand that. But do you know what color I like? Like, I know we're family, but to me at this point, like, what is family? I don't understand. For me, it's just like someone you love that you have no emotional ties to. That's like my definition of family. That's how I see it. So it's like, but he was just super hurt, and he's been this guy, very macho guy, by the way. Finally, at the dinner table, my godfather started like crying. He said, Tom, I'm gonna tell you a fucking story, and I want you to listen to it. And I said, okay, go ahead. And they told me, I know how you feel about, you not feeling connected with your parents. I have a lot of trauma with my parents, unfortunately, which has prompted me to try to escape and move out from my household many times. In a healthy, I don't know if healthy way, but in a way that didn't involve me doing, well, I don't know. I need to stop talking. But I didn't run away from home. I just said, guys, I'm leaving. I'm going to try to survive on my own somehow. And then that's what I did. They knew, it's not like I abandoned my family completely. But so they're like, no, we understand. I understand, Tama. When I had my father here, and you've met my father, Tama. Again, no connection, but yes, I knew who his father was. Tama, my father was a man who was very, very out of touch. He wouldn't, again, no emotional connection. It's just a generational trauma thing, I suppose. No emotional connection, no touch, no love, nothing. And he was a drunkard. He would always drink. I never took him seriously. Never. But he would still respect me, but I just felt embarrassed because he would not be a responsible person. And I did my best to get out from that and live my own life and try to live my own way. I understand that. But I never gave the opportunity to my father to like try to put myself in their shoes and try to realize that they were trying to love me until it was too late. And so then he was crying. He had tears in his eyes. And he said, on the last day of on my father's deathbed, that man was calling for me because he loved me, and I couldn't be there on his final moments. And my biggest regret is not spending more time with my father and actually doing my part as a son to get to know them better. And at that time, I knew that his words were very important, and I knew that eventually I would be feeling that sort of pain eventually in my life. But at that moment, I was like, I'm willing to go through that pain because I'm not happy where I am right now. And I want to go back and try to find my own version of happiness. I've never been happy ever. And I want to look for a place where I want to be happy. You know, I want to be okay. And I just can't be happy here. And I understand what you went through, and I'm sorry. What you went through is my biggest fear. And I know it's going to happen to all of us eventually because of how, like, fucked up my family situation is. But damn, did I remember him when my grandpa died. That was so fucked up, chat. I was like, shit, he was right. My dad literally just went through that now. Shit. And now I'm here as well, like, in Japan. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Should I go home? Because the moment my dad or my mom dies and they're calling out for me, am I going to be in a foreign country? Or am I going to be right there next to them? It's something that I have to think about. Am I going to wait till they're dying in their deathbed for me to realize that they love me? Or should I give them the opportunity to get closer to me? I don't know. The thing is, though, is that I feel like I dedicated my entire life to beg them to love me. And I just got tired of begging and I left. So I'm in a very difficult situation. But I do love my parents, of course. It's just like, it's a very frustrating and difficult situation, and it has left me with, unfortunately, it's left me a very broken human, not being able to do the simplest things like appreciate people, second guessing people's intentions, you know. It's frustrating. It really is. But this whole thing of like family and connecting with your culture, it's like it can be traumatizing. You don't want to connect with that, and it can also be comforting. It's just like two sides of the same coin, and it's very, very frustrating. I don't even connect with some of my immediate family. My dad tried to reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I just ignored him. What the fuck? Like, what's your favorite food? How do you enjoy your eggs?
Drink water, you dehydrated bitch!
Thank you, Matrix. I should. Drink lemon soda. My dad was a drunk, a racist, and an abuser. He could be dying, and I'd do what I could to hasten it. No, of course. You do you, man. Not everyone deserves forgiveness. Or your time. But, I feel like to those who would want to help and reconnect with people that they've had like this sort of frustrations with, it would certainly, I feel like people should not take advantage, or not advantage, my bad, take for granted, that's what I meant, my bad. They should not take for granted the things that basically continues the generational trauma. This is basically why I don't want children, because I don't want the negative parts of me to be implanted in a child. I don't. And of course, like, first I need a partner to talk that with. But I just don't see anyone truly trying to know me as a person and making me feel safe and planning such things with me. It just doesn't seem like a plausible thing for me. So I shouldn't even be worrying about that, but you know, it's a lot. It's a lot. And definitely, you know, my parents abused me, but I love them still. And same with, you know, it's complicated. Some people's situation is complicated, and I'm not gonna force anyone to, be Naruto and basically be like, let's be friends forever. No. But some people do want that connection, and I don't see anything wrong with keeping that connection. But when you go through difficult situations, there you go. Situations like that, yeah, you hit the 2-hour mark. Thank you, Matrix. I might do another 30 minutes. We're like halfway through this video. I kind of want to see what else is being said here. I started yapping a little bit. God damn it. Yeah, it's a very difficult situation. Talk no jutsu versus Brawly. Lurk. Thank you, Matrix, for the lurk. Oh, shit.
But there's a billion people in China.
Right,
I'm not denying what you went through.
Right.
But I think you'd be missing an opportunity.
Okay, there's a billion people in China, and this is this person's lived experience. That's kind of an invalidating thing to say. He just shared something very traumatic and vulnerable, and then you're going to dismiss it by saying, well, there's lots of other people who have gone through.
Sorry, got alert because I'm doing my thing also. No, it's okay. You don't have to apologize for lurking. You don't have to lurk. If you need to go, you can go. It's okay. Now don't force yourself to watch me, guys. It's okay. God damn it, every time. Shit, No, see, like I told you, a lot of us, like when we hear stuff like that, we turn
or worse things.
We turn judgmental when you like forcefully give up on something like that. But I understand the kid. I'm assuming he's in his 20s. I shouldn't call him kid. I understand the guy not wanting to do certain things because of the trauma connected with it. Lurking to support the people. Thank you for supporting Matrix. Gracias, gracias.
I don't like that.
Both Mark and I speak Cantonese, which is largely, I would say, a dying language because only people from Hong Kong or the small southern part of China speak Cantonese. The majority of China speaks Mandarin. I love being able to speak Chinese with my parents because sometimes there's things that are more easily expressed, and my parents always try to teach me different ways of life and different principles that can only be said in Chinese, because if they're said in English, you're like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I think like right now they're doing this whole collective thing to shame him. Like they're being positive, but they're doing negative, like positive, being positively negative. There you go. Or negatively positive. What? Which one is it? Which one comes first? I don't know. But they're all singling him out for not wanting to speak his parents' native language. So it's like, yeah, a lot of us feel that way, especially when you don't know how to speak your native language. And I don't think it's right. It's kind of an asshole thing. Again, we all have our living experiences. People shouldn't be forced to do anything.
Excuse me? So I like
you think differently, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes different, so I think that's the opportunity, really, to really look.
They're trying to force him to do that. They're invalidating his experiences.
The world a little different. Yeah. It's more expansive.
I'm really feeling for Marco here.
Yeah.
He is sharing something very vulnerable and personal about his individual connection to language and trauma, and people who may have not experienced trauma they're dismissing his lived experience.
Yeah.
Not everyone has the same associations. And yes, Cantonese is a dying language, and there is a genocide happening. And for this person, that's not his experience because it's so heavily paired with his specific trauma that it can't be generalized in the same way as people who are looking at it from a more bird's eye view who haven't experienced that trauma. So Marco, you do you. If you don't want to speak Cantonese, that's totally fine. Other people will do it.
What's the best part of being an immigrant parent?
I think the best thing is that I can really bring knowledge to them. That things aren't done the same way everywhere, because I grew up differently. I was born in the States, but I left when I was a baby, and I grew up in Venezuela. So it's very interesting to see how my kids are growing and how I grew up, and I feel sometimes they're missing out on certain things, but I also see all the opportunities they're getting that I didn't.
Oh, there's so much richness to being raised by an immigrant parent. I think people who have just experienced a more global perspective, whether, you know, living abroad as children or being raised by immigrants, just have more maturity, more global maturity, emotional maturity. You're just aware that the US isn't the center of the world. It's not the center of everything. And you have more context and empathy and perspective on how the rest of the world functions, that there are multiple ways to do things, multiple ways to live. And I think it can just really add a lot of richness to a child's life to be raised with that diversity and perspective.
I am able to talk to my
No.
parents about mental health.
Maybe my dad recently, but
Oh
she
my
is
God,
weird.
only one person.
The fact that the Hispanic chick is the one very confident, very healthy is so out of character for me. I've never, ever seen anything healthy. We basically have, I don't know, that's fucking crazy. And you know what? This is me assuming things, but the fact that her English is really good implies a lot of things. It implies like possibly social status. Maybe she has better opportunities. I'm assuming things though. You know, she could go to a school in Venezuela that would teach her how to speak very good English. That's very privileged. I feel like only rich people would be able to do that. And if you are somewhat in a very, you know, again, it's been proven, if you're in a household, in a healthy household with healthy income, you're just gonna be in a healthy environment. So it's just like, for me, as someone whose family has only experienced poverty, it's kind of crazy. This is just like, huh? How is the Hispanic one super healthy? This doesn't make sense.
Walk to the chairs. That sounds about right. Mental health is such a taboo topic.
Yeah, it's taboo.
For people of the global majority, for communities of color. There's such a stigma to being able to talk about your mental health. It's seen as a character flaw or as a weakness. And even now, when there's so much more discourse around the importance of mental health, it's still seen as like, oh, that's not something we do. That's something that white people do.
Yeah, that's something that white people do.
I really think of it as what is the privilege or focus of life. When immigrant parents came to the US, they were focused on their survival.
Again, survival.
Making money, putting food on the table, shelter. Something like mental health was a luxury. So we were very much raised with this shut up and be grateful perspective. You have all these things, like what else is there to complain about? You're thinking too hard if you're thinking about your mental health. And
that's true.
On the flip side, you know, the whole purpose of them giving us this opportunity is so that we didn't have to work so hard for our basic survival needs. And one of the benefits of that is that we have the time and luxury and ability to think about things that are more nuanced, such as quality of life and mental health. So really that gift of self-actualization is what we're living out now. And what I love about the children of immigrants that I see and work with is so many of us are thinking about what can we do to continuously improve life for future generations? How can we break cycles when it comes to emotional vocabulary?
I literally just mentioned that.
Ways of being
stop, not have children. That was my solution.
Type of emotional stifling that we did, even if we got physical luxuries that our parents were able to offer.
I mean, my parents are pretty open people.
Not my parents. Hell no.
Anything. My mom went through depression. We were there for her.
Yeah.
At first, we thought she was making it up, so that might have been like culture.
Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, that's the negative part. At first, we thought she was making it up, Lamau.
But you know, with time, we started to learn about it, and there's a great system here for mental health. So
in the U.S., yep, I see.
I learned a lot, and like I said,
so herself is eventually she sugared up to, not sugared up, she warmed up to it. There you go. She warmed up to the thought of mental health, which is what happened to me. I ended up taking mental health seriously when I was living in my car. that's where I was like, maybe, I live in my car, but maybe I should go to therapy. That way I can survive this whole thing of me living in my car right now. And so when I finally went to therapy, finally accepted what I was diagnosed with a bunch of shit. I did my best to help, to try to warm up my parents to mental health as well. My mom doesn't have any of that, but my dad listens to me. He really does listen to me a lot. And so the thing is, my dad doesn't talk. He keeps things to himself, and so I am the one who always like listens to him as well, and I try to help him open up to me and say the things that he needs to say. But it's hard because it's this wall. Me and my dad were raised in he raised me basically. My dad basically raised me. And so I have this macho mentality, macho, where I'm pretty like hard-headed, like I have a steel heart, I suppose. I've been called a robot before. It's pretty hard for me to open up and stuff. And it's that same way with my father. And I think though, since they're my dad and obviously, we have the same personality a little bit, I do see the value in trying to help him go through that as he grows older. And so I think like she ended up being healthy as time went by. So when she was growing up, it wasn't healthy mental health. So that makes sense to me.
So my parents and I talk about.
I apologize for assuming things.
We're very open with each other.
Okay,
about
but
her.
That's actually not a super common experience.
It's
Maybe
not.
It's more common in Latin cultures.
No, it's not. It's not common at all. It's not. Just let the record show that it's not.
But that's not the case for Asian cultures.
It's not the case for Latin cultures at all.
At all. And I think
at all. I'm reiterating, she is weird for that in a good way. God bless her. Thank God her family's healthy, but that is weird. Okay.
African cultures as well. A lot of diasporatic communities do not feel safety to be able to share dissenting opinions with parents, to have that degree of openness. And a lot of
I would never talk to my mom about my mental health. That's a final thing. I'll die on that hill. Like I've tried to, but it's not a good idea. And so I think it's safer for me to not do that. With my dad, he just listens and stuff. He listens, but it's not like he comforts me or anything. Usually it's me trying to comfort, but the thing is, like, my version of comfort is very screwed up. I'm the type of person who can listen, and if I can give you a back rub, I go like a manly back rub, like, come on, brother, like that, brother, stuff like that. I'm the type of person who my way of comforting people is by being there, but I do feel shameful for not being able to voice these things. I'm more of an action person than a talker, but yeah, it's not common at all in Latin American cultures, depending on which Latin American culture it is. Of course, there's many of them. That's not common at all.
Older generations don't know how to connect with their kids. They don't know how to actually be involved in their kids' interests. Even now, my parents' conversations with me is like, are you eating? How's work? How's kids? Okay, cool. You're doing well. You're surviving. You're doing great. Next. They're not really, they don't know how to be interested in the day-to-day struggles and nuance of life.
I don't think my mom knows my favorite colors. Like, if I think about it, my mom doesn't know what my favorite colors are. I don't think my mom knows anything about me, really. She just knows my personality, I suppose, but there's this one time that dad, this was kind of rare of him. Maybe he was having like a brain fart or something, but I remember it was my birthday. And I don't know, I feel like my family should know this by now, but I really like cheesecake. That's like the only pastry thing I like, or cake like thing that I like is cheesecake, or anything with like lemon flavors or lemon lime flavors. But my dad bought me a peanut butter ice cream cake, and I hate peanut butter. And it was like not even peanut butter, it was peanut butter and chocolate ice cream cake. I hate chocolate and peanut butter. And I was like, Lamau gordo, like, what the fuck is this? And he's like, oh, you don't, oh shit, oh fuck, you're right. And I was like, Dad, if I had a peanut allergy, I would take this as you trying to kill me. Gordo. He's like, well, you don't have a peanut allergy, Lamau. I'm like, okay, true. But if I did, you would have just killed me just now for funsies on my birthday. That's kind of fucked up. And we laughed about it. And I, who cares? But, that's sort of... I feel like me and my dad are connected. I think Dad at least knows that I like manga. And that I talk to my dad about everything, actually. The rare times I talk to my family, I usually just... I talk to my mom, but me and my mom, we can't have a conversation for more than like 15 to 20 minutes. After she gets bored with me, she gives the phone to my dad, and then I talk to Dad, and Dad just sits there listening to me. And so my dad listens to me. He hears everything. He eventually falls asleep, though, but I go, yeah, gordo, I'm streaming, and then chat, and all this stuff. So I'm pretty sure, like, I talk to Dad about chat all the time and stuff. So Dad is a good listener. He can connect with me. It's just, like, the emotional part is the hard part, it's the difficult part. So it's just very unfortunate that a lot of like immigrant families can't really know, or just don't know how to connect with their children. But I feel like it's crazy that I know for a fact that my mom doesn't know what my favorite color. You know what? I don't even think Dad knows. Lamau, I'm gonna ask him. Gordo, what is my favorite color?
Life.
I think mental health in a lot of Chinese American households is ignored, mainly because, my parents never had that outlet to share how they felt, to speak up, because they always had larger things going on in their life, like trying to survive in Cultural Revolution China.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's absolutely true. And if you think about what happened in the Asian subcontinent for the past 100 years, there's just been so much systemic trauma, so much war and genocide and just colonization and, things that required the necessity of the Asian diasporatic movement. People had to relocate in order to escape war. And that is an experience that impacted a whole generation of people across a very wide geographic location. And if you think about how that impacted our mental health as children of immigrants, it's vast. So many of us have this shared experience of trying to break these cycles, of being aware of generational trauma, and being able to have the vocabulary to help our parents even now as they are dealing with the demons of their repressed trauma and unspoken experiences. I think it's really sad.
That's actually true. Now what's ending up happening is that I have turned into I've always been a therapist, to be quite honest. My dad is finally opening up to me about his traumas, but my mom, especially when she needs to desahogarse, how do you say that in English? When she needs to let it out, I just sit there and I listen to her, and she tells me about her traumas and stuff, and the only thing I can do is listen. And it's like, even I don't know how to deal with it, so I can understand their confusion, because like they don't know what to do with me, so I also don't know what to do with them. But at least with my mom, I do try to listen to her despite our differences and stuff, and it's very crazy. It's a very complicated situation. My parents are at that age as well. So am I, but I feel like my parents are feeling it even more now that they're finally feeling what they went through. Like the trauma's finally raw. It's it's like when you go through intense trauma, you numb yourself. And you numb yourself for a very long time. You feel nothing. And once you start realizing what has happened to you, that's when that pain comes back, you know. It's like, oh my God, what has happened? Oh my God, this happened to me, kind of thing. This happened to my family, yada yada. And then you go through the cycle where you numb yourself, and then something happens, and it's like you realize things, and you go through this like whole personality crisis, existential crisis. And I think my parents are going through their existential crisis for the first time ever since the incident with my grandfather happened 2 months ago in December. So I'm trying to learn how to cope and deal with that. Again, very complicated. I'm so old. I feel like I'm at an age where I feel like I should know. I should be better by now in terms of mentality and stuff, but I still don't know what to do. But I guess at least I'm trying, right? I think, I hope. It sucks.
Add that our parents' generation don't think of it as a priority because they don't want to focus on it and let it impact their lives. But as we see, whether they acknowledge it or not, it absolutely still does impact their lives. It shows up in nightmares and hoarding and scarcity and just all sorts of more subversive ways that our parents don't want to look at, but it's heartbreaking to us.
When someone has mental health
my mom has insomnia.
Like, oh, they just have an evil spirit in them. They need to get the evil spirit out,
Oh, yeah.
Not saying that people there do not have it, but it's not.
She shouldn't make those faces because there's a lot of Latin American cultures that do that as well. Especially also if they've been influenced by Christian religion. So it's not that I don't like her faces that she's making.
There's a pride there. And I know this because I'm pretty sure my dad has had depression since I was born. And like me and my siblings recognize it now, but like he would never. The thought of saying, hey, Dad, do you want to go to therapy? Maybe you should see a therapist.
Yeah.
Completely off the table. Why would I go see a therapist? I'm fine.
Yeah.
You have a roof over your head, you have clothes on your back, you're fine. I'm
fine. I've heard that.
So it's really common for people who have experienced trauma to have a very real, palpable sense of grief about what they missed out on, what they could have had, or what their true potential would have been if they didn't experience that trauma. And when we're met with that sense of helplessness, I think for a lot of people of our parents' generation, there's this, well, we can't do anything about it now, so why dwell on it? Why talk about it? Whereas for people who are of our generation or younger, people who are more aware of trauma impacts and mental health, who are interested in becoming cycle breakers, there is a acknowledgement, being able to feel the sadness and the grief of having missed out on these opportunities, or having the strife and helplessness of not being accepted by the dominant culture. If we can acknowledge that and feel the feelings related to that, then there's more that we can metabolize of those emotions into action and into activism and into broader change. There are things that we can do. We don't just have to accept it. It may not be huge systemic change, but these small steps add up. And the more we can normalize talking about it and feeling the grief and deep emotions related to that trauma, the more we can metabolize and turn that into action for the future.
Although I was born here, distinctly American, I feel like I identify more with Asian American. But even then, that term is very murky, since being Asian isn't enough for my Asian friends, and being American isn't enough for my, American friends.
Yes, it really speaks to just the
That's why I always have to say I'm a Mexican American, because I cannot be just one.
Of one racialized community. And Asian Americans, that's a political term. We have so much diversity within this category, and our lived experiences are so different. There's way more within group variance with Asian American, well, with any minoritized group
Mm-hmm.
than there is between group variance. So I think we really need to acknowledge just the diversity of experience. No minority group is a monolith.
I do feel like I'm American because I'm from South America and North America, so I feel double American, but the fact that I am constantly being asked where I'm from.
Ooh, that where are you from question. Ooh, I hate it. It is such a microaggression because it insinuates you are other, you are foreign, you don't belong here, you're not from this place. And so depending on who's asking me this, like my the hairs on my neck kind of perk up and I get a little bit sus about it. If it's another person of color, especially if it's another Asian person or, clearly they're a first generation immigrant, I tend to give a lot more leeway. Like, okay, they're looking to connect with me. They're looking to see if we have similar backgrounds or shared experiences. But if it's a white person asking me this, especially if they had just met me, I get really suspicious because it's sometimes it can be like a fetishization thing.
Yep.
Oftentimes it's
Yep.
well, you're clearly not from here. You're clearly not American. And I don't want to feel othered by people. I want to get to define that for myself. So
I'm othered by people where I live at right now, but it's like
a white person that I just met asked me this.
I've always been through that. So
Michigan. I grew up in Ann Arbor, which is true. I did. But if it's another person of color, then I might give some more, expansiveness to it. I'm an immigrant. I was born in China. More nuance.
But it's not always malign. Some people are generally just curious, and I used to think very negatively, like, oh, do you speak Chinese? Like, where in Asia are you from? And I take it as an opportunity to educate them. Like, I'm Asian
that
American,
as well.
my parents are from
That's what
China,
I do
but was
here.
born here.
In Japan, they can't comprehend that someone can be Mexican and American at the same time. So everyone here cannot fully comprehend why exactly I'm American. So they just identify me as Mexican, even though I've only been to Mexico like once in my entire life. So when I meet children for the first time and I like the first graders and the second graders, I make sure to teach them that there's different types of people, including me. And I teach them that anyone can be American, including me. Well, even though I don't look like American, I don't have the blue eyes, the straight hair, whatever. I'm not white. Even though I'm not white, doesn't mean that I'm not American. Anyone can be American. And so the kids are able to learn that. The teachers don't like it when I do that, however, because they see it as too political. But hey, if I can get away with it, I'll do it. So my kids can easily explain to adults why I'm specifically Mexican American. And it's because my parents were born in Mexico, but I was born in America. So then that's it. That's all it is. So I do also use it as an educating opportunity because a lot of people just aren't familiar with that, especially in Japan.
I do speak Chinese.
Okay, well that's good for you, Christine. I'm glad you have the energy and
the energy,
to
yeah.
educate strangers who ask the same questions over and over again. A lot of us don't, especially if you aren't sure of their intentions in asking that.
Yeah, if it was in America, I would hate it.
Rose-colored glasses, like, ooh, what an opportunity to like bridge and connect. But I've learned over time that people's intentions aren't necessarily
never
great
good. Yeah,
when they ask that question.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like it's my responsibility
if it's
to
like
educate
anyone from the Western world asking me that,
think,
I'd be
her
sus.
saying this, like the fact that I had such a strong reaction to it also just really shows the diversity in the Asian American experience more specifically. There are so many different political alignments, different assimilation, as we've talked about, within the Asian American community that we can't even necessarily agree on who we are and what our relationship to whiteness is, what our adjacency to whiteness is. And it can be really difficult to even find like-minded ideas within the same community because of that. And I think we don't really have solidarity as a racialized group because of this diversity.
I have or will
No.
raise my children
No.
the same way my
Never.
parents raised me.
No. No. No.
So interesting that the only people who
No.
said yes to that question were the first generation immigrants, that all the children of immigrants would disagree. And I think that's pretty common.
A lot of things that my parents did, we traveled a lot because they wanted to really encourage learning.
Okay, she is privileged then.
In the U.S.
So this person's
Okay,
experience
privileged.
is less of that first generation
Yep,
immigrant and more
privileged.
kind of that second generation immigrant.
Second, yeah.
Because of the biculturalness of her
Yeah,
parents.
that's
I
privilege.
think that does shape one's perspective around.
How do you afford that? Like, how are you doing that?
Yeah, that's a hard no for me.
Yeah, hard no, yeah.
And it's because I was raised to fear my parents.
Yep, me
A
too.
big part of it, too, is just a lot of what Americans would consider abuse.
Absolutely.
Americans
So
would
much
consider, yes,
cultural
yes.
nuance here, and so many parenting values and perspectives and what might be normalized in other cultures would be considered abuse by American standards. And I think the idea of fear as control, shame as a parenting tool, obedience as the ultimate beacon of what a good child is or looks like. I mean, that's very common among immigrant narratives. And you have to think about this from the perspective of, systemic trauma and colonization and imperialism. People who fit in and were able to survive and adapt are the ones who are obedient. And so, of course, our parents think like this is what we need to instill in our children in order for them to have a chance in the world. But also,
It all goes back to
with the next
colonization.
generation, with the luxury of freedom of speech and freedom of thought that we do have in this country, we're kind of breaking beyond.
Did you know that you have rights?
On that, we're thinking about values and opportunities and identities that go beyond staying in your lane and staying in line. We have so much more luxury and privilege of opportunity to be and do different things. And I would agree that fear is effective, but doesn't raise free thinkers and doesn't raise emotionally healthy adults.
I used to be very obedient. And very obedient, but I was weird. I was like obediently like against everything. Like I would stay in my lane, but I'd be like, no, I hate that. For example, like I would listen to mom, but I'd be like, Mom, I disagree with you and I think I don't like this and you kind of suck. Like, we would have fights, but I would still listen to her. And sometimes I'd be like, Mom, if you can't respect me, then I won't respect you, kind of thing. And that would frustrate her a lot. That's why me and my mom don't click well, because I'm not her dog anymore. So kind of thing. So like, I used to be, but same with my dad. I mean, we eventually kind of went through that a little bit, but my dad wasn't as controlling as mom. So it's like, it's definitely a culture thing, and I never realized it was basically because, like, it's a generational thing that started through colonization and imperialism. That's very interesting.
If I have kids, I would do 4 is, tell them I'm proud of them.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. And
yeah,
I'm proud of them all the time, even though we're not close. And sometimes I feel like we just need to hear it back. Like that they're proud that we went to college and are good functioning adults in this world.
Yeah, that's something that we don't get very much as...
Actually, I got that for the first time, I think, like... When was it? 3 weeks ago. For the first time in my life, I heard my mom say that I was... That she thought I've done a lot in my life. I kind of had a crash out with the fam again, like always. Because I wanted to, every time, I don't know, I wanted to check up with the family. A lot has been happening, a lot of bad things, like always. And eventually I ended up cracking and kind of confessing to my dad that I felt shame for being privileged and for not being able to help him. And, I just don't like, I think it's, The moment I saw my dad having to bury his own father, dig the hole, go in the hole, make sure everything's fine, and slowly start burying my grandfather with his own bare hands, that is something that will stick with me forever. Because it's just like that's the poverty that my family grew up with, and that's the poverty that they escaped from, and that's the poverty that they prevented from me living in. And the fact that the fact that my dad had to go through that, yet me, I'm here living my fucking life, you know, being a fucking Twitch streamer in Japan and an English teacher, you know. I feel great shame that I couldn't be there for them during something like that, and as traumatizing as that. The only thing I could do, and this is why I'm like super grateful to my community and to my friends who helped me out financially during that time. I will forever be grateful, and I'm also ashamed that I just don't know how to show that appreciation at all. But during that crash out, you know, I was just like crying my eyes out to my dad. I was just saying, I'm so sorry. Like, I couldn't be there. I couldn't help. But at least I could send them financial help. Through the help of, again, the help of my community and my friends. And that I was just ashamed of like what kind of daughter I became, because like I hoped that I would be able to have figured out my life, but to this day, like I have like $2 in my bank account. Like right now, I'm living on 1 meal a day, and so like I don't have things figured out. And it's like, shit, like I should be rich by now so I could help the fam out finally, and I just don't have things figured out. I haven't really accomplished anything that I am proud of. And so I told them I was a failure as a daughter. And my brother ran away from home as well recently, and it's just like, shit, everything's falling apart, yada yada, all that good stuff. And then for the first time in my life, my mom was like, no, you've accomplished a lot of things. I don't even know what you're talking about, Lamel. And I was like, what? What the fuck? Oh, 20 plus years of my life, woman. And this is the first time I've ever hear you say that. That's crazy. It did help me calm down, though. I think my mom, we were fighting, of course. But once she saw me breaking down and stuff, she got scared. So she chilled off for a bit, backed off, and she's like, well, actually, I feel like you're pretty cool. No, like, she called me cool in Spanish. She's like, pues si eres perrona. It was kind of funny. She goes, pues si eres perrona, okay? Don't say you're not. Perrona basically means, like, you're a bad bitch. I mean, like, you live in Japan by yourself. Like, you helped us out. You were able to convince people to give you 1K in less than a day and help us out. You helped us pay off a lot of things, and you're the only one who, you know, you're the only one in the family who's completed school. You're the only yada yada yada. And I was like, this is the first time in my life that I'm hearing this. And I'm like, Mom, you know how many years I've been waiting for you to be proud of me since like, both of y'all. Like, what the fuck? I've never heard my mom say that to me ever in my life until like 3 weeks ago. And I think it's because of how traumatizing that event was. But it was crazy. I think I wrote on my Patreon about it. I don't know if I did. I can't remember. But I was just having crash out. And after that, that's when I decided to go get anxiety pills. Because that's how I knew that I was, like, the guilt of being a immigrant child was eating me alive at that point. I just couldn't get the image of my father having to bury his own dad by himself with his bare hands out of my head. That was crazy to me. I just did not like the amount of privilege I live and continue to live with is something I'm ashamed of, especially when I have nothing to prove out of it. So that's why I decided to get some pills to help me out, to help me sleep and stuff, and it did end up helping. And I was just very erratic during that time as well. I eventually ended up taking a hiatus. A lot of things was happening to my brain at that moment, and it's a scary thing to go through by yourself, let me tell you. And so this is why I'm like reflecting on this, because it helps me. I have no one to talk to about feelings and stuff, unfortunately, and I can't afford therapy, but I can yap about it on Twitch, at least. And whoever listens, I guess, to my yapping, at least I can feel a little bit better that, at least some rando out there can hear me. So I think reflecting through this video and then, seeing that girl's reaction too, it's like, yeah, it's relatable. I really wish that I could be more confident, and I feel like my lack of confidence is precisely because of the lack of like positive reinforcement that I got from the fam and stuff. And plus recent events and yada yada. So her reaction really is very valid. Especially me, that I barely heard my mom say that she's proud of me out of like, I've never heard her say that in my entire life. So it's kind of crazy. Thank you for head pat. Yeah, pet Baba Bigs. I'm so sorry to hear that. I can tell it was very tough past. Oh, it's okay, Ryohu. You don't have to be sorry. It's like, it's not your fault. It's just life sucks. I hope your family is doing great forever. And the same I wish for you. Thank you. You're a very special person for your family and those who know you. That you have decided to help and not leave them behind says a lot about you. Sorry for being dead for a while. No, it's okay. Don't ever apologize for not being able to see me. I think I've just like these past ever since December, I've been very erratic. And so I'm trying to learn how to cope with that. Yeah. It's not, I feel really bad. I feel like a lot of people have been turned off by my annoyances of not being confident, I suppose. And it's been showing a lot, and I'm not used to that at all. But it's like something that everyone has seen and is used to now, which is crazy. I never would have thought that I'd be this like emotionally vulnerable in a negative way. But it's, yeah, like I said earlier today, I've been numb my entire life, and then once you realize how shit your life is, it's like, oh, the feelings are pouring in. Help, fuck, shit. And yeah, for me, that was like, yeah, the whole dad thing was very traumatizing for me. You did write about it. Thank you, Fohawk, for reading it. You can always yap about it in our DMs. Why are you yelling at me? Oh my. Not Elks. Not always easy when you come from immigrant family. You realize the comfort we have in Western countries, but you don't feel guilty for that. Yeah. Hearing our parents being proud of ourselves may be hard, but it doesn't mean they're not proud. No, yeah. It's just I've heard more criticisms than that, but yeah, it just it helps. It helps.
Like that they're proud that we went to college and are good functioning adults in this world.
Yeah, that's something that we don't get very much as children of immigrants. We don't hear from our parents through words of affirmation that they love us or are proud of us. Acts of service were really the major display of
service,
love.
yeah.
There's a trope in Asian communities that
acts of service. Actually, I took a test to see what my love language is for funsies, and my love language is gift giving. And I think my love language was number 1 was spending quality time. But it was like really close. It was basically on par with gift giving. So I think I don't spend that much time with people. I feel like I make people uncomfortable. It's very difficult. Like, you have to be a weirdo to want to spend a long time with me. Like, just hang out with me. I feel like you have to be a weirdo for that. Xiaomi. But the thing is like, if it's not that, if I feel like I can't express myself, because I can't sometimes, I just don't know how. I really do enjoy gift giving. It's been hard now that I'm broke though, but I do enjoy. That's why, like, the Christmas special, was it the Christmas? Yeah, the Christmas special was very important to me. Having to gift everyone those logos, like, for me, I was like, yes, finally I can show these people how much they mean to me, because I can't say it with words, unfortunately. I have to give you something. So, like, acts of service is definitely something that that I do my best to be able to somehow show in a way that isn't I don't know, that isn't vulnerable, maybe, I don't know, that makes me feel comfortable in doing so. That's I didn't realize that a lot of people like me also relied on acts of service as well. Don't call me a weirdo. You should be proud of yourself. Just take a look at everything you've done. No, I'll try. I have to try doing that. Gotta go. Wishing you good day and night. Take care. Bye, Tayo. Thank you for... Oh, what the fuck? Thank you for hearing and dropping by. I'm gonna end pretty soon. We only have 5 minutes of this left. After the 5 minutos, I'm out. I have to go to bed. Fohawk, don't let me stream after 6 minutes, please. Fohawk wakes me up in the morning, and Mampus too, so
Mom is sorry
they
because
get
she brought in a big plate of cut fruit.
They get to tell me when to go to
Is
sleep.
a way of
Well, when I
showing
ask for
love
it,
and
of
affection
course.
and, food in general. But it can leave this hollowness, this feeling of emotional lack that still
Yes.
hurts in adulthood, because you just really want that affirmation, that reassurance and confirmation that you are loved and you're important.
Yes, I never hear that ever in my life. And it's like, when I was a child, I'd have to beg for that. But when I did that, I was shamed for it. So, like, I just get frustrated sometimes when I feel like I deserve something and I don't get it. And so it's like, yeah, that's why, again, I clash a lot with my parents. It's
you belong, and your parents care about who you are and the person that you're becoming. And I think for a lot of immigrant parents, their ultimate check boxes for being good parents is, did we pay for your college? Did we provide for you materially? And are you productive members of society in prestige, productivity, capitalistic measures, rather than are you happy? Are you well adjusted? Do you have loving relationships? Do you have interests and hobbies that bring you joy and fulfillment? Those are areas that are just not really focuses in a lot of immigrant households. Ooh, that was a heavy one. I think one thing that's so important to touch upon is that for every generation, we have this foundational start point of what we think life is going to be. And then our hope is just that we're gonna improve from that.
Yes.
So for a lot of
I just said
of
that.
our parents' generation, they reach this point. They're like, this is good enough. Compared to where I was, this is great. I don't even have the energy or desire to go beyond that. And then children of immigrants, we have a different start point. So of course our ceiling is going to be higher. And at a certain point, we just have to accept the differences and what good enough looks like between the generations. And as children of immigrants, we have to accept our parents for who they are and where they are. And sometimes you have to, bite your tongue or allow them to just be who they are in service of maintaining that relationship and preserving those cultural ties and cultural roots. And same if, for our parents' generation, like you have to accept that you brought them to this country and you gave them a whole different world and context and educational opportunities. So of course, as a result of that, they're going to be different thinkers. They're going to exist differently in this world. And sometimes that's not going to align with your beliefs. But that is the whole point of giving them this opportunity so they can become different thinkers. So, as we think about this video more holistically, another thing that pops up is how so many children of immigrants adopt people-pleasing and perfectionistic tendencies as remnants of this obedience parenting that they may have experienced growing up. And it gets us far in life.
I don't think I'm a people pleaser though.
Fit in, we're able to be palatable to lots of different people. And yet this can absolutely be rooted in trauma where we don't have permission or feel safe to be who we are. Maybe we don't even know who we are because we were raised to just blend in and be palatable. And so one of the greatest gifts of acculturating and maturing and safety in a sense of belonging in this country is the ability to be more of a free thinker and to ask yourself, is this who I want to be? Is this who I am? And how can I be more authentic to who I am in all these different spaces that I occupy? We tend to think of masking and code switching as being the same thing, but they're really not. Code switching is, we all have different facets of our identities and personalities, and we show up differently in different contexts, but they're all true to who we are. Whereas masking is you put on a mask, you become somebody else in order to be more palatable to that environment, in order to survive and fit in. And this is a term that really came from the autistic community and the neurodivergence community, but can absolutely be applied to any marginalized communities. We are very keen on what it takes to fit in every single scenario that we're in, and we can pull that out really quickly just to ensure our own survival. So it's a luxury to get to unmask. Not everyone has the privilege of authenticity. And I think one of the benefits of being children of immigrants and having opportunity in this culture and context is the ability to unmask more and more. Because the more you unmask, the more real and authentic you are, the more you normalize that there are lots of different ways to be Asian American, Black American, whatever you are, whatever your groups and identities that you hold, you want to expand people's ideas and definitions because nothing is a monolith, and you get to be authentic and true to who you are as you go through this world. Thanks again for watching.
Okay,
for more videos like this
we
from Help My
finished
Mental
it.
Health, click the like and subscribe button.
I actually
See you
liked
next
her.
time.
I thought she would be too American, honestly, but she was able to, despite being a different race and ethnicity than me, she was able to describe a lot of accurate things of my lived experiences. So that's pretty crazy. Tamashii 33 has been 7 minutes. Might want to start thinking of heading to bed now. Okay, fuck, Jesus. Thank you, though. I did ask for that. So therefore, I will listen to you for once in my goddamn life. Let me just go to the ending screen, guys. Thank you for listening to me. Sorry I got pretty deep there. That's what she said, but not in a good, well, I mean, I guess it was a good way. Maybe people don't know what people like me have experienced and how our mental processes work. Sometimes I wish I was born in a country where it's just everyone is looks like me, kind of thing. So, but also it can also apply to people who do understand or didn't realize that they can relate to me in that way and stuff. So the whole point of these things is just to broaden minds and put things into perspective and stuff. So thank you to those who were listening. Sorry I ended up kind of tearing up 3 times there, but at least I wasn't bawling my eyes out. So I feel like I I succeeded today. So I'm going to end stream now. We haven't heard the ending in a long time. I just gotta relax a little bit. But yeah, thank you for hearing me out. I'll send you to Baya Birdie Bix, who's still streaming. Bye bye, y'all. Oh wait, the raid message, y'all. I forgot about it. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you, Fohawk. Thank you, Tama. Thank you for stream. At least you did not unstream. True. What the fuck? Sorry, I'm seeing Zaya without audio right now. And they're floating on the corner. Discord. Oh, thank you for. I forgot I had that. You guys can also join my Discord right there if you enjoy what I've talked about. We're pretty goofy on Discord, and we do Monday night hangouts. They're not hangouts, I'm sorry. Monday night movie nights. And if you want to join me in that, there's the link to the Discord. Zaya just came back from their break, so we're gonna raid right now. Thank you, y'all. Bye-bye. I'm pressing raid now, but it's not working. Why? Okay, I guess I'll do it automatically. I almost banned someone. How? Okay, there you go. Shit. Okay, stop streaming. Tama.